Boys, welcome to your men's group alignment session, the first of a series of things that I want to do for my boys, my guys, my men out there. There's a lot of stuff to learn inside of what this can do for you. I'm just going to mute all you guys, and feel free to unmute yourselves if you guys want to chip in, chime in. This is totally going to be conversational, but I wanted to give a numerological perspective for males, male energy. I want to share an interesting stat with you guys. Like 95, 92% around there are all females that work with me. And it's crazy because I'm thinking to myself, you know, what is it that the women want to know? Is it my beard? Like, you know what I mean? I'm thinking that maybe I'm just a super charming guy. Like, I'm just kidding. But the reality is that they're willing and ready to dive in deep, and they want to go in deep, and they want to learn about themselves. They want to talk about themselves. They want to talk about their feelings and limiting beliefs. And I'm like, you know what? It's not just ladies who deal with this. Guys do this too. We all go through this. And when I look at someone's numbers, I don't see male and female. I see numbers. I see 1 to 9. So when I'm looking at numbers inside of charts, they're going to affect us in the same way. What's up, Jace? How's it going, brother? Welcome to the show. I'm basically just getting started here. I'm going to allow you to record this, and I'm going to mute you so that I don't we don't get your voice. But if you do want to dive in and chime in at any time, you're allowed to unmute yourself. But I did allow you for recording. Good, you got it. Cool. So, guys, and I was just basically telling everybody right before you jumped in, like landslide majority of my clients are females. So it tells me one thing, or it tells me a few things. First things, that I've got a huge opportunity to increase my client base. And at the second time, I also have a really powerful ability to help people go inside of them. And I like to think that I suffer from this as well. Like the massive cliches around guys, like we don't ask for directions, we don't need to ask for help, we don't need to look at the instructions. We're just basically going to do this on our own and do everything. And it's interesting because when I look at this information, when I look at numerology, it's allowed me to see into the natures of people, whether it be, like birthday, your name, the name you use for business, whether you're rocking on it or whether you're not, whatever stance you take in life, it's a good idea to know what the instruction manual or what the thing looks like on the inside. Now, we're like fortunately blessed to have a smaller group here. Okay. Like I want to share something with you guys. This is us. Okay. This is us. I'm just going to put here Tom and Ty, because these guys aren't here right now, but we're missing their full names, so I don't really know. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at all of us. We're going to take a look at all of us and make sure that we look up, like that we understand what these numbers look like. We see these guys here, Benji, Dean, Gavin, Tom, and Ty. These are my clients. These guys are people that have worked with me one-on-one already. You'll notice that their names are all pretty damn good. They work to a higher level. They work to a mastery. And then we look at, and even Jace, I gave you this name. We're looking at things that are happening inside of Donovan's name. DM Brown looks really good. Ricky A. Bowden. They're giving us challenges inside of our numerological landscape, okay? When I look at people and I do something, I'm working with a group of entrepreneurs, and I'm lining up their names. Inside of a 2 to 3 hour time together, it basically takes me a while to get through everyone. So not everybody gets the full-on personal attention that I like to give them. Whereas in a case like us, we're extraordinarily fortunate to have a nice, tight crew of people here that you guys get a chance to ask me any questions you want. We can go into your chart specifically. We can actually utilize you as an example, which I'm hoping my boys Dean and Gavin, you guys are going to let me do this, to actually go through your charts again, now that we're in a group, so that you guys can show up as learning lessons and like examples for everyone. What we're going to do inside of here is we're going to look at this from a very objective standpoint to see. I'm going to share with you guys what the numbers mean. I'm going to share with you guys what the numerology looks like. We're going to look at every single number the same way we're going to look at every single tool in our kit. We're going to look at every single pen or color pen or felt or crayon or whatever it is. We want to know, what are we dealing with? This is the math class that you never got as a kid, okay? So when I get a chance to see this, we're gonna see where the ones look, and I'm gonna pick on Dean's chart because Dean's here. Okay, so because Dean's a great brother of mine. When I read your chart, dude, I was like, I felt into this. Okay, so this is what a personal chart looks like, and I'm just gonna quickly I take a peek at this. He's got the 1, he's got the 2, he's got the 3, he's got the 4 is missing in his chart. No wonder Dean's Dean. He's missing the 4. Okay, then we have where else do we see? He's missing the 5 as well. So we've got a couple of gaps in your chart. Then 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. We have double 9s, double 6s. You got basically all the numbers in your chart except for 2 of them, okay? Most of the time, it's uncommon that you guys are going to miss numbers in your chart. If anything, you'll miss 1 or 2, like Dean, like no big deal. If you look at mine, I think it's right here. I have 1, 2. I'm also missing a 3. I've got the 4 in there somewhere. I've got a 5 in there. I've got a 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. So basically, we're not missing more than 1. But inside of here, you're going to see when I look at your name, we may be missing some numbers here. You may feel like you know some of these numbers coming up when I talk to them, or when I call them out, and we're like, all right, now we're going to talk about the number 4. And just because it doesn't show up in here, I'm pretty sure Rick's going to know it somewhere. He's going to see it somewhere in his chart. He's going to feel it somewhere in his path. And this is where we get a chance to actually acknowledge the shit that we're going through, the drama that exists around us, the challenges. It's tough being a guy in 2019. I'll tell you straight up, there's emotions and feelings that we're not allowed to have. We have to show strength. We have to show this power. We've got to be the alpha. We have to be the leader of the pack. And it's challenging. It's a challenge because we're human beings just like the rest of us. It's a challenge for women too. It's a challenge for old people. It's a challenge for young people. No matter what you guys are looking at, it's going to be a challenge. So what we want to do is we want to take a male perspective on this and to actually look at this objectively and see, well, here's my number set. Here's where I recognize them in myself. When you guys recognize numbers inside of you, it's like setting it free. I want to do a couple of quick little bits and pieces of information just to set the bar here, just to set the tone here. First of all, today's a 9-day. Gavin, you're in a 1-day. Okay, so if you're in Australia and it's already the 20th, you're experiencing a brand new cycle. For us in North America here, it's a 9-day. It's a completion day. There is also a full moon. Also, there's a bunch of spiritual stuff going on that's basically causing a lot of completion, a lot of end, a lot of conclusion. Like just 3 days ago, Ricky messaged me saying, I just lost my dad. And I'm like, my heart goes out to you, dude. Like my heart absolutely just felt like it just beamed right there for you in that moment, because this is a spiritual time of conclusion. This is a spiritual time of let go. This is a spiritual time of graduation. And when we're looking at it, even at this point now, I got a chance to see it today, whatever you guys are dealing with, you don't have to tell me. This isn't going to be like a bunch of dudes just crying in a circle, okay? Whatever you're dealing with inside, you have to answer that to yourself. You do not need to answer that to me. You do not need to validate me to you at all. You got to talk to yourself with this. That stuff needs to get let go of. And you're like, oh man, tell me about it. Like, holy shit, story of my life. Full moon, the bigger planets are doing things. We're having a 9 reset day. There's a lot of letting go already happening in the universe. You guys got help. So you got help from Pops. You got help from the universe. You got help from angels. You got help from God itself. Okay, like there is a magnetism. Astrology, look it up. There's a magnetism of letting go that this time together we're going to get a chance to do this. So letting go of the limiting belief that I can't do this business, or that clients come in hard, or maybe me and Dean we're in Toronto, and he's like, dude, I'm just gonna like just puke all over people with my information, and there's limiting belief around that, right? To think that we're giving away too much, or we're not giving away enough, or that we're not doing the right thing, or we're not showing up as the men we need to be for our families, or for our business, or leaders in our community, or whatever it is for you, the feeling of not having enough time, or being too late, or being too old, or too young, it doesn't matter. Whatever it's showing up for you, there's a moment for you in this truth awareness you have with yourself to let that shit go and to absolutely have the help of the universe. Because for me, let me be straight up honest with you guys, it was beating myself in the face. It was beating myself in the chest. It was doing a bunch of coke. It was basically smoking a bunch of weed. It was getting fired from my job, having destructive relationships with people that would abuse me. I was holding on to a lot of crap, or was getting beat up as a kid, or getting bullied by my friends. From my friends, I was getting bullied. Like, imagine my life. So a bunch of this stuff, and I've been letting it go. I've been getting the colonics done. I got the spiritual healing done. I looked at my chart. I basically, hired voodoo artists and shamans, and it was crazy. The RMTs and the Reiki, and I went to all different points in the place I could, whatever I could do to move my energy forward. Because, hey, you know what? I was like, oh, man, I'm going to take this Enagic business on. And my Enagic business was stalled because I had an employee mindset. I had a limiting belief about the way I spent my time. So then I ended up getting into spiritual arts, and numerology really started to take off alongside my Enagic business. About 120 sales in there. There's nothing to shake a stick at. Some people are doing this in a fraction of the time. And I'm sitting here like blooming and blossoming in the spiritual realm, but I'm still growing inside of my Enagic business. I'm helping people to find alignment inside of their lives. And all the while I'm limited, thinking, oh, I can't do this. I don't know what I'm doing. I can't succeed in my business. I'm making over 6 figures in one side. I'm starting to help people become a global speaker, have group sessions, do things for people on one side. And I'm completely blind to my success because I'm focusing on where my milk spilled over. I'm focusing on this. And that is the most draining thing that we ever have to experience. So whether it be whatever it is out in the universal magnetism of the cosmos, you can pull it in, you can ask for it, you can like call it in, like Happy Pocket Full of Money stuff. It's already yours. It really already is. All you have to do is to start assuming the position and to absolutely call it in. And it's funny because, you get a chance to actually say this to yourself and to think to yourself, and not in the, I wish I had money, or I wish I was rich, or I wish all the people came in that I need to and they would just close right away. It's languaging around, I am the reason why someone's going to be successful. I am the reason why someone's going to join this business. I am the reason why, or it's because of my growth or my path. I'm gaining value, more and more value every day. You're still not out of integrity, even if you haven't made the millions of dollars yet. But the reality is that you have to acknowledge where you are. And poor is a mindset. Broke is a situation. You could be broke, just don't be ever poor. A friend of mine told me this one day. He's like, and this is like an Indian guy. I was like, he's my neighbor. So I was living in like white boy Vancouver. Okay. Like I saw an Indian guy. I'm like, hey uncle, what's up? And this guy so we became buddies pretty quickly. And he said to me, he's like broken Indian accent, right? Like thick. He's guy's like got a work truck. And he just says this for a living, like painting and stuff. He's like, and I'm not going to do the Indian accent right now, but he's like, you could have $1 in your wallet. You can have $1 in your pocket, but still have $1 billion in your mind. Like, don't forget that. And I'm like, whoa, super profound, dude. And that feeling stuck with me to remember that it takes one. The power of one. If you ever hear Per Blanche talk about this, he says the power of one. It takes one friend, one sale, one thing, one decision to change everything inside of your life. And you can let this moment be now to be like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of playing small. I'm sick and tired of letting this thing take a hold of me or to question myself consistently. I'm sick and tired of this stuff. I'm just going to commit. I'm going to decide right now, no matter how fucking hard it gets, no matter how difficult it gets in life, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it, or I'm going to die trying. 50 Cent, straight up. And we're going to absolutely get there, whether you have to grow, whether you have to go through it, whether you have to experience it. Maybe you have a humbling process in front of you. Could be your kids that humble you, your wife that humbles you. That's the most humbling, hey? When wifey has to humble you and own up on your, and smart man will be like, yeah, you got to listen to your wife. And this feeling is that your woman wants you to lead. That wifey wants you to absolutely take the control and absolutely do that. This is just a given. It's a biomechanical mechanism back to the caveman days. She wants to see you, come home with the dead saber-toothed tiger on your shoulder instead of you being eaten by the same wolf, you being eaten by the same addiction or the drug or the poor thinking or the negative mentality. We have to slay the beast and slay the dragon and bring it home and protect everyone. It's a big deal. I get it. But we're equipped for the challenge. All right. So when I go through these numbers, I may be talking to Dean when Ricky's like, that's totally me. Look at these numbers, guys. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. I don't think I've seen this before. I don't think I've seen this many nines in a single group inside of birthdays. this is a very powerful feeling. Sorry, I screwed this one up. It's going to be 8 and then 9, right? August. So we have a lot of 9s in here, which is a lot of massive level of spiritual cosmic power. So I'm just going to get super deep on you guys for a second. Maybe we should start with the 9. You know, when we're looking at numbers, 9s show up as the humanitarian, the guy for massive impact, the person who has a lot of care and super huge heart for everyone else. I'm just thinking about Ricky here. This guy's blessed this, grateful this, howdy man. Absolutely always there to shine love on people as if it's like his absolute God-given duty. And it is really with this amount of 9s in your chart. Ricky A. Bowden, we have Ricky Allen Bowden, we've got your October 5th, 1974. The value inside of all of these 9s, it's so humble, okay? This is like connected to other people way before they connect to themselves, disassociated from themselves, but absolutely feels the pains of others. Won't do right for the self, but will absolutely not do someone else wrong, but can't do right for the self. And I mean, I had this as well in my name. I was running a name like this as well in a negative state. Is not a bad thing. But when we see these, we see the giant level of heart before us that is like, I feel your pain. I feel your challenge. I feel what you're going through. And that can be a huge like relief. But the problem with this 9 is that it's going to have a failure to create a solid and healthy boundary. So this is like a recurring theme for most of us, is that we've got all of this like 9s in our chart. It's pretty auspicious that we're dealing with a 9 day today, right? To think that this is the day for that energy to absorb. So if there's that emotional value that you're just too strong to have to process, perhaps maybe it's inside where the tears are. Maybe it's inside where the pain is, inside where the failure shows up. That's fine. We're a bunch of dudes. We can be strong. I get it. But that reality is that in your experiencing this, you will shine so much love to others. And it's a very, very powerful feeling. Ricky's back. Cool. I was just talking about you. Sorry, bro. I didn't know you were in here. But the reality is that as a life path 9, your value is that of a helper, a healer, a processor of information, a processor of energy. You're there for everyone. It's a pretty good, strong, like massive lesson to be there for yourself as well. And if only, right? If only we could just be there for ourselves the way you're there for everyone else. I'm pretty sure if someone calls Ricky's on his horse, he's going to absolutely run into battle for someone else, because this is the value of what 9s do. And this is like, we have to deal with this. You can't just ignore the fact that your hearts are bigger than your heads. This is a huge heart that expands the end of the universe. So the problem here is that we're not going to know what's us and what's the other guy. What part of us is actually me and what part of me is actually experiencing someone else's energy. So to understand that you're hypersensitive to energetic frequency might be a reason why you leave the party early, or that you kind of have to stay away from certain people, or you may disconnect yourself from other energy, because that 9 is just, hey, look, I'm feeling a lot. I'm going through a lot. I got to have to distance myself a little bit so that I can get back to me or get back to myself. Great number to have. It's not a bad look, but this is also disconnected from ego, which is a bad thing. Disconnected from time. I'd like to think that's good or bad. Good in the fact that you have a pretty good value for what you can see in the future, but bad when it comes to having to take things down, do stuff, get stuff done. That negative 9 can be a pain in the butt when it just really I'm caught running errands and doing everything for everyone else. You know, when do I get a chance to do that for me? Especially if you see a 1 somewhere in your name and you see a 9 somewhere up, there's that irritation that says, why am I not doing right for me? I got to do right for me. Oh, wait, the 9's here. Someone else is here to save. Someone else is here to experience. So when we're looking at this, unless you're Jeremy Edward Beck, which is like, you don't even use it, we all got shitty names. And this has got to be like the biggest like face palm for Jace here, because your name is actually epic. Your name is actually like, I'm going to get it done. This is why you want to be an entrepreneur. This is why this feeling shows up for you, no problem. But when we go Jace Donovan, it wasn't. When we look at a name that you're using now, it basically, it self-sabotaged. Whereas Jeremy Edward Beck is like ready to have a fast running paced business. There's a value of entrepreneur right loaded in your name. So interesting how these things sort of come out. But when we're talking about numbers, the 9, this is the master of love, and I've probably got a really strong idealized version of it that it's hard to match. It's like my standards are set so high that only Disney can save me now. And instead of trying to find it inside of real life, you may be holding a high standard for other people in love, even for yourself. It's not a bad thing. It's just something to pay attention to. You guys are like this is like the Care Bears, but instead we're all like grizzly bears. Okay, so we're like, this is a powerful feeling inside of this, like this shine, like Iron Man's beam right in the front of him. Okay, like you guys care a lot about others. We take on the pains of a lot of people too, don't we? When that 9, someone's in pain, you're in pain too, aren't you? That feeling of that 9 says, I'm going to be there with you. I'm going to experience it as if it's my own. And you help a lot of people by taking the bullshit away from them, but it also means that now you're thinking of their garbage. So it would be nice to get a float tank in, go out to the lake and smoke a doob by yourself. Get out there and basically just like get into meditation, listen to a podcast, write down a vision of your goals and your dreams. Like, what would it do? What would it take for you to feel like you're honoring yourself? Do that, okay? So we have a value in that. And connecting to nature for the 9s, wonderful, wonderful. The nature is about as old as you are. So when you get out there at the lake and you're looking at the mountains, or you're on the water, you're in nature, at the park somewhere, breathe it all in, because that stuff is like cosmic reset for you, especially a day like today. Cosmic reset. So think about this. Like, imagine, just like take it on your mind for a minute. You got this box full of all of the crap that you do not want in your life. The lack of patience, the whatever it shows up in, the frustration, the I can't do this, the limiting beliefs. Imagine you were able to put it all into a box and you had this like bullshit wand that you could wave over your life, and everything you found that you hated about you that was holding you back, you'd throw it in this box. Okay, so you got this box full of stuff. Everyone's trying to look in each other's boxes. It's like, no. You got his own stuff with it, and snap, it's gone. Okay, like absolutely getting taken away from you, and it's no longer there. Now you got an empty space, and now you're starting to think, all right, now I'm in a store and I got this empty card, and Bobby says, here's a black card. It's not gonna decline. Whatever I need, I get a chance to put in this. No problem. I get a chance to make a couple trips to the car. I'm putting in confidence. I'm putting in assertive. I'm putting in communication. I'm putting in power. I'm putting in solidarity. I got all of my power there. I've got compassion. I've got love for other people. I got love for my business. I got patience for them. I'm going to help them through. I got a system I can use. Everything is getting put in this cart. You start thinking to yourself, what are you putting in there? Like, what part of you what are you putting inside of your cart to help you get to success, to help you get to this new reset? Lucky for Gavin, you're already here. This is tomorrow. For the rest of you guys, you need to sleep on this. You're going to have to journal on this. You're going to have to really call it in. And it's a powerful concept for the 9, because there is no timeline. There is no yesterday or tomorrow or now or in the future or way in the past. The 9 looks like time, like a cloud. So you get a chance to go far into the future. Think, how far is it in the future that you've actually done this and you've actually put all these things into practice? Could it be that you're like seeing 6 months, 6 years? For some of us younger guys born in the 80s, you're probably thinking, I'm going to give this a good 5 to 10 years. I'm good. For some of you guys who were born a couple years earlier, you're probably thinking, I don't want to work for that long. I'd like to get this done like yesterday. So there's a chance for you to really realize when in the timeline are you guys calling it in. So 9s are perfect for that. We're really leaning on your guys' energy, especially for me right now, because I'm peeling into like this. This is the part that I'm looking at that gives me power. This is the race track of our souls. Okay, so imagine we got a map, and this is like a topographical map of all of our lives. Bobby enters here, he goes this way. Okay, Dean enters here, goes this. Ricky's going this way in his track, and we're basically a network of life paths. And I'm pulling it on this energy, and I'm like, damn, this is a really spiritual magnetic antenna. I'm sitting on this really holy land of souls, and I appreciate you boys for letting me in on this. It's not for everyone. There's a reason why there's a smaller level of group for this, because it takes a higher level of consciousness that's past the BS of like stereotypical gender roles that you guys are actually out. I'm like, well, no wonder. Look at these numbers. You guys are spiritually connected. You're boss modes. We're going to talk about the 8 in a second. they're connected to themselves and connected to others. So we have a very large level of value that's showing up here. So I appreciate you guys. Absolutely. So, Dean, this was said privately to me, so I'm not sure if I should read this out loud, but I'm gonna change some of this around for you. So you were born as Dean Marcel Rochefort. Okay, so we're gonna talk about this. Okay, so hey man, what's going on, brother? Who unmuted? Did you want to say something? No.
Yeah, I unmuted. I was just gonna
Hey,
reconfirm
brother.
that my name has been a fucking mess since I was born, or a blessing, whatever you want to call it. It went from Dean Marcel Rochefort to court issues, and then Dean Adam Coakley, and then when I was 13, 14, basically they came both at me and said, "Who do you love more? Whose name are you gonna take?" And I said, "You guys are assholes."
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot of bullshit that went on with that. Anyway, it ended up being Adam Rochefort Coakley. So that's why I've got a super long ass name now, and it's a pain in the butt.
So right now your legal name is Dean Adam Rochefort Coakley.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that sucks. Okay, that's not cool. Like, to be fair, that's not fair. That's not that. Like, you know, you're given a name, and like for me, like thinking as a man. Okay, like I'm thinking as a man. I'm Balwan Francisco Perihar, so it's half Indian, half Spanish. I sound like a freaking curry taco, but I take a move towards Bobby F. Perihar. So I know that I've got a name, and that's it. That's my namesake. Like most of you guys have this still legally. My poor man Dean here is like dealing with like no, and you're getting pushed around and shoved, and you're like hot potato with this name. And like for me, that would have a really heavy effect on the way that my energy has played out in my life. So knowing your story and knowing what's going on with you and how you've been in life and stuff, I'm like, well, no wonder you're moving in and out of names and wondering which one. You're like, yeah, it's been a total fuck show. And I appreciate that, you are the man that you are, and I appreciate you've taken the name that you have. This may be a little bit more of a growing curve than you were expecting, but the reality is that this name, 966, I gave it to my son. When he was born, I had to give him the most perfect name out there, and Dean R. Coakley is like literally the most perfect vibration that you could use. Yeah, boom, Dean, fuckword.com. This reality is here to think that, dude, like you're on the path to greatness. You are on the path to greatness. You don't build Rome in a day, okay? Like you can't. And to think that you've had a lifetime of like, how many times have you almost died? Like, how many times, like, 3, right? And then like to think like you've been pushed to the edge, and then even parents' turmoil. Like you got torn between their story. To think that you're on the road to like greatness, it's a powerful vibe. So I appreciate you chiming in for that. And you're not the only person. Like you saying what you did is going to help someone else in this call. It's going to help someone else on the replay. They're absolutely going to show up for power. And I appreciate anyone, if you feel that call to think I got to chime in on this, then absolutely please go for it. Okay. Or if you feel like you just want to be a fly on the wall, it's absolutely cool. By the end of this, you'll be a dragon on the wall. So it's okay if you don't want to contribute. It's all good. But I forgot to mention this. I aim to go for 120 minutes. If it takes a bit longer, it will. But we've got a smaller group, so I mean, depending on how active you guys want to keep up with this, it's fine. But the reality is that I wanted to respect everybody's time and let you guys know. Ricky, raise your hand. Go for it, bro. I'm gonna unmute you.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, man. How's it going?
It's going good, man. Sorry about I lost Wi-Fi connection. I'm up here at a truck stop right now. That's why I didn't hear you said you was on me. You didn't know I was gone. So anyway, I got connected to it. But I know I'm going through a big change with my father passing away this past Tuesday, and like I told my wife, I said there's going to be a switch that's going to flip me to a different level on Monday morning. And all that. I can feel the energy. I'm all about the moon. Me and my kids share the moon. I have the moon on my arm with roses, and it's dedicated to my daughter I lost 2 years ago. She was 7 years old. So, I'm here. I'm not here to be a fly on the wall. I'm here to get busy with this and get my alignment right, because I'm connected. I've always been connected with nature ever since I was little. I went hunting one time when I was 7 and asked my dad if he minded if I didn't go hunting again. He discovered real soon that me being the only kid, I would play with deer, raccoons, any type of wildlife. I just had that awesome connection all the way up till I was like 16 or 17. But anyway, I'm here to get this figured out, man. I know my emotions are high. Of course, it would be with anybody. And but that's what's going to give me power and fuel to push on through to where I need to be, my purpose and my passion. And he was proud of me. He was proud of the Enagic product. He was proud of everything I was doing and how much people I was influencing with giving them their health back. So anyway, I'll quit talking for now. I'm sorry I missed the introduction. If he was talking about me, I came in on the Path 9 part of it. But anyway, I'll be quiet for now.
I'm gonna shout you out when we do this individually. I'm gonna go through everyone's chart and we're gonna trail back around you. But I don't know how. See, like when I work with people, like let's say me and Ricky have a one-on-one. Okay, like we're gonna be able to, like, without anybody looking or anybody watching a replay or seeing this or being in a group, we're gonna be able to go in super deep. Okay, now you've raised your hand enough to be like, look, I'm gonna share my story. We're gonna go deep. I have a relationship with the universe like that's unparalleled to anyone else. And the amount of like I can feel a frustration energy that's underneath. Not maybe it's not yours, but it's underneath of loss. And my heart just absolutely crushes for you right now, man. I can't imagine what you're going through, but you standing up is going to help a lot of people. So I appreciate you so much for being here, and you didn't have to come, and the fact that you did, the fact that you are here, like, I appreciate you, bro, so much.
Everything happens for a reason. This was my alignment. I called it out in the group just to find out when it was going to be. And what happened 2 days later, I lost my dad, but it's still my set alignment of emotion, and everything else has put in its place. So my dad was high on energy. He shared love. He gave more. I mean, the funeral is going to be astronomical because it shocked everybody in my own county. I carry him, him within me, and he's all that I am. And I'm going to make myself proud and impact the world. But anyway, I'll be quiet again. I'm sorry.
No worries, man. Honestly, it's a really interesting situation that you're in, but Dad's with you. Dad's with you right now. I can feel him. I can absolutely, and the relationship is stronger now. The relationship is more intimate now than it could have ever been because of the fact that he's actually inside of your heart now. And with numbers like this, you're barely human. Okay, like this is like borderline, Life Path 9, triple 9s on his birthday. Ricky A. Bowden is a 9. This is like not. It's like a very difficult thing. Like deer, raccoon. Like seriously, like you're playing with these animals as kids. Like the universe has to recognize you. Those animals are instinctively programmed to run away from anything that is not their family, because this is a relationship that it's a fight or flight mechanism for an animal to do this. But I call this the bee meditation, where if you see a bee swirling around, are you going to be like, get it out of the way? Or are you going to be so calm that the butterfly lands on your finger, or the bee just comes in and then just sort of walk? The bee doesn't want to sting you. The dog doesn't want to bite you. The reality is that we as fear animals have to make ourselves bigger, and we send off a magnetic energy that says, boom, like listen to me, or fear me. And when we look at a number like this, your chart is absolutely universe, master of the universe. To live this life, it is going to set you up for like the tangible, actual physical loss of life. So I mean, you're blessed to have these numbers in order to display your universal strength to lose family members at this age. It's just one of those realities that we have to understand. But I have faith that if anybody can handle this, it's you, okay? But that name may be causing you an overload of emotional energy that's not yours. You are like the custodian of handling everyone else. So be very careful about the boundaries that you create. And born in October, having this 1 in here, I like that it does show up. We'll get there in a minute, but many, many blessings to you. not the last time we're going to be able to talk about your numbers before we're done. So life path 8s, or the number 8s. This is where we want to be, okay? We're going to take a nice, quick little drop back into the real here, and then, like, being alive and being, on this planet where, oh, great, spirituality is awesome, but how's this going to help me in business? Quick, funny little story. Balaj, you guys know the guy? He showed me numerology for the first time. He's a life path 8, so he wants to be all about the money. And absolutely, rightfully so. He's a very powerfully magnetic, financially worthy person. He found altruism within it, and he found an ability to help other people within it. His name was Party Boy. So he was into doing fun things. He couldn't, hold a relationship down, couldn't hold a business, and basically kept on getting fired his way through work. He puts the W in his name, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points up, and he puts a W in his name, and now he's running as a global visionary, and he's running as a powerful wealth center with the name Path 8. The reason why he found numerology was because he found a numerologist who was about using numerology for creation of wealth. When we look at money, 8 is its most mastery form. When we look at love, 9 is its most mastery form. So these two numbers are the custodians of mastery of wealth and love. When we see them together, we see people who want to have large levels of impact and absolute large pockets as well. So we see guys like, well, let's see here, Dean, Gavin, okay, who else has got the 8s and the 9s? We see this inside of our charts. We got Jace with a name path 8, naturally aligned 8, and a wisdom in his 9. These numbers show up to feel that you guys are a powerful group of master dragons that are going to unleash their power on the world. And that's not a bad thing either, unless you're burning your own house down, in which case, hey, I'm sorry for you. Let's not go into that direction. Let's help you guys become wealthy. When I work with people, where this is the second part of our session here, guys, I come up with, these are the allowable focus for wealth. When I look at how this could show up in someone's chart, I'll quickly just give you guys an idea. These are all the numbers that you could have. These are all different ways of showing up in a name. Only some of them work, and only some of them are actually in the levels of mastery. So when we're doing a session together, I want to make sure that your name for business is showing up like this. Your name for life is showing up like this. You have a value inside of you that shows up for wealth. You may one day, most of you, Jeremy, don't change your name, go in one day and say, you know what, screw it, I'm going to change my name legally. Dean, I would imagine you may want to do that at some point, is to change the name, the way you look like legally to your finances. I am about to. I'm getting married in August, so I know that I'm going to be changing my name before I do that, because ain't no way I'm going to show up as fighting myself and not talking about it and not communicating and just here for a good time but not a long time. There's no way that I'm going to show up like that way on a on a marriage certificate. Like, absolutely not going to happen. I want to make sure that my numbers show up powerful, and this is where you guys pay taxes. This is where you show up to the government. This is, or at least where you were born, and unless any of you else have changed your name legally, besides Dean. Dean's got a legal name change, so you're no longer Dean Marcel Rochefort. So this feeling is to think, okay, so you guys may want to test how powerful it looks like legally. Don't do it tomorrow. Don't do it in a week. Don't do it in a month. This is like 2 to 3 years from now. Even like, let's say Gav got his numbers done about a year ago, a year and a bit, or about a year ago. Even Gavin's too early to change his name legally. So you like hold off. I've been 5 years and I haven't changed my name legally yet. So when you guys get a chance to do this, Balazs did it. Clint's about to do it. My wife has done it. People who are getting married that I've talked to, like ladies who changed their name for sure, either getting married or divorced, or changing their name legally. But a lot of people go through a legal name change. Not a lot of people go through a legal name change because it's a big freaking deal. Okay, like a few of my clients have, and I'm like, yo, you ready for this? Like, are you ready for this? It's a big shift. You put it on a passport, a driver's license, or your taxes or your business. It's not a small game. I promise if I don't if I don't communicate it properly, you're like, this is just some weird stuff. I promise you, this is everything. Your name is absolutely everything. Imagine if, I was walking up to, like Donovan, and I'm like, Jerry, what's up? And you're like, it's Donovan. I'm like, I know, but I'm just going to call you Jerry. You're Jerry now. It's going to be like, I don't know. Like, it's going to be kind of it'll be like a weird slap to think, hey, this isn't where I want to be. This isn't me. My name is my name. So we take a sense of pride in that, to know that when we do experience these numbers, that we want them to be in alignment. So 8's law of attraction. We're looking at the value of power inside. Dean, do you want to add in?
Yeah, I was gonna say, what is Dean Adam Rochefort Coakley the name I'm rolling with then?
Where are you legally right now?
Dean Adam Rochefort Coakley.
Yeah, so you're running with that with that right now, and I don't think that one was valuable either. So when I look at this, I'm looking at what you were born as. So let's just take a quick peek. I am going to do this a little bit more in depth for you, but this is a good time to run this up. So Dean Adam Rochefort Coakley, and let's just take a look and see. You got 4 names right now, and this isn't helping you either. So it's either you're either actually this we should say wasn't bad. This would have helped you a lot during like some shitty times in your life. If you were just Dean Marcel Rochefort, it wouldn't have been a bad look. But the fact that you changed from Marcel to Adam, Rochefort to Coakley, Rochefort, Coakley, all of that stuff just basically went and messed you over. But this wouldn't have been the bad look. This would have actually kept your feet on the ground and wouldn't have messed you up as bad. Okay, but getting ripped on and torn on the way that you have, I think that's more about your soul's purpose to help people, as opposed to your own, challenge that you've had to experience in life. You're a beam of love. All right, dude? Like, you are a freaking healer, and it's tough that you have to take on so much garbage from everyone else. But life path 9, I'm not surprised. And you're in a 9/9 right now. So I'm not surprised. Jace, what's up, man? Can I unmute you? Hey, what's up, brother?
May I unmute? Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So you're telling me to stick with a name that I do not align with, is part of a family I want no part of.
2 points. So let's separate two. Sorry, keep going.
Well, it's just like my involvement with any actual family I have is a half-hour phone call once a week. I have zero involvement with any family.
Okay.
Other than that phone call. From a moral and ethical standpoint, I don't want to be aligned with my parents or any extended family I have. I have no brothers and sisters. And I took a lot of guff in my younger days over my name as well. And Jace Donovan is derivative of going back through the family Bible, originally Irish, ancestors land of the Mayflower, all that shit, Plymouth Rock, blah, 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 blah. That's more in line in a spiritual sense with ancestry than whatever the hell that meaningless title my parents saddled me with.
So okay, cool. And anything more to add to that?
No, that's basically it. Like, I understand from a numerological standpoint, it might be yay, but Jace Donovan ain't bad either.
I'll tell you something. It doesn't matter how good the name is. If it's got an experience of bullshit around it, I'm not going to sell it to you. I wouldn't take it. I would be like, get that thing away from me. I don't care how good it is. I'll find something better. I'll be something bigger. I'll do something else. And you're more than entitled to do that. I just said, don't change your name because it's good. I have no idea what experience you've been through, but knowing even a fraction of it, I can tell you right now, it's not going to fly. And you're still legally Jeremy Edward Beck, or are you legally changed?
Starting the process.
Okay.
As you pointed out, holy shit. It's an involved process.
Yeah. Are you Canadian or are you American?
Both.
Oh man. So yeah. So basically, yeah. Okay. But the reality here is that I want to give you dates to do something. So
Okay.
when your guys and this is going to go for all you guys. So this is a bit of homework because I can't really figure out. I'm going to use Jace as an example, but what we're going to do is you guys are going to be able to figure this out. So it's going to be the month of your birth plus the day of your birth plus the current year equals a number. Okay. So for Jace right now, we're looking at and 2019, just to make things really simple, is a 3-year. So looking at Jace's numbers, he's going to go 3 plus 11 plus 3. So that's what, 8? Okay. So now we know that you're in an 8-year. Okay. So follow me with this. This is calculation number 1. So you're going to find out what your number is, and this is called your cycle year. So it's your month of your birth plus the day of your birth plus the current year. Okay. And when you get this value, it's going to be a number that basically says your cycle year. If you're planning on doing something super important this year, like changing your name legally, buying a car, selling a house, maybe buying a car is on the lower end of this, but buying or selling a property, starting a business or going legal with your business, getting your incorporation, or anything super big that you have to do, if you have any surgeries planned for this year, you're going to want it on this day. Okay, so in our current example, we have an 8. So what we're going to do is, if you say this day, then it would have been yesterday for you to do something massive. Today's a 9-day, so you don't do it. So we go May, which is a 5-month, plus the 19th, plus the 2019 equals 9. And we sort it all in together, okay? So it would have been yesterday. So if we're looking at a powerful day for Jason May, we go May 2019. The days will be, what is it? It's going to be, if it was the 18th, right? So it's going to be it'll be the 9th of May, the 18th of May, or the 27th of May. If I go into June, it's going to be June 2019. I know this is a little bit over everyone's head here. I'm basically coming up with days that I can use. So it'll be the 8th, it'll be the 17th, it'll be the 26th. Any day that adds up to the value of a total day by being the 8 is going to be a good day for you to change your name legally. Okay, so you may not be able to zone in on some of this stuff because you're like, I can set in paperwork, but I don't know what day is going to get processed. Go in person, process as much as you can on an alignment day, get everything you done, as much as you can done on that day that you have. So if we guys have any questions, or if I confuse the shit out of you, it's because this is like level 5 numerology. But the reality is that Jace needs to have this done because it's affecting you. Okay, like I don't want to have anything to do with this vibration, and the fact that you have to show it everywhere you go and pay taxes with it, it would give me a freaking headache the size of I don't want to have to deal with that. So that could be the disassociation itself can be a huge challenge. But we'll talk about this even further, because you're life path 5. Okay, so you're a fighter, you're a warrior, you need to seek freedom and change. So we're going to see that in a minute. Okay. So 8's great number to have, but it can lead us into addiction. Okay. It can lead us into disassociation from self. It can lead us into a massive level of intelligence with a lack of ability to express it, which gives us a pounding headache, or it can just take us and rip us away from life. So 8's the most dangerous tool that we need to have in alignment. Out of alignment, an 8 will mess you up. But in alignment, it will be the magnetic word that you speak that absolutely helps someone get to the next place in their life. So it's something to really, really pay attention to. I use it, okay? When I look at the names, and I look at the names I give people, we're looking at a value that says most of these numbers include an 8 in them, okay? Only which ones don't? The first 4, okay? But most of them include 8, otherwise it includes a 6. And that's the next number of value. So moving down a little bit, we go into the number 7. 7s are going to be indicative of your meditative side, your spiritual side, your godly side, the part of you that wants to connect to source, the party that can connect to nature, the party that absolutely can read other people's minds, the intuitive, the gut feeling, the quiet, calm, reflective, reserved part of you. my boy D doesn't have any 7s in his chart. Just kidding. He probably does actually somewhere else. But actually, yeah, you do. You do. You have it inside of your name now. So it shows up as I'm not going to say anything, or I'm not going to communicate properly, or I'm not going to speak my truth. It's the deeper sensation of us. And for me, it was that spiritual journey, which I called my drug abuse. I was like, oh, I'm just having a spiritual experience, getting on high on acid or LSD or mushrooms or a combination of them or MDMA or whatever it was. I was having a spiritual experience. I quite literally was, but I was also abusing myself because that 5 was working in the negative. But we have a 7. These are the people, the mindsets that may not say very much. They may not need to, but they also show up with a power of intuitive, and I can see into the future. So we know that like Donovan's got this, Donovan Michael Brown. We show up with a 7 in the beginning of your name when you were born. This is still there. It makes you aware, like it makes you deeply or deeper connected to people. This 7 will also love deeper levels of conversation. When you can get in it, that 7 will say, oh, just bring it. I love getting deep with this stuff. It's a wonderful feeling to show up with a 7 in there. Even Dean Adam Rochefort Coakley now shows up as a 7, but on the negative side, and not picking on Dean here because, you know, he's a great guy, but on the negative side, the 7, it wants to say what it wants to say. It wants to express itself, but at certain points, it feels like it's missing that. It feels like it's not in its power of vocal expression, and this could be a challenge to your wealth because you're showing up Dean Adam Rochefort Coakley when you pay your taxes. It's not helping you. It's not helping your expression of wealth. It's like, look, everything I need is taken care of, and I'll always have as what I need. And you're like, that's not enough. I need to have abundance and wealth. Of course you do. Of course, to think you're an August baby, like as a kid, August babies here, Gavin and Dean, you guys are already hip to the game. You're already thinking. You're already smart. And Gavin's got it the worst, 8. That's hard to manage as a kid. That's super hard to manage as a kid because you're not going to listen to anyone. You're going to I don't follow orders. I'm like, I get it. Obviously you don't because, you know, these numbers are in your chart. Like my daughter's an 8/8. She's born in an 8 life path and she's born in August either. I can't tell her what to do. And as much as you got to listen to mom and dad, imagine what this does to your psyche. You're impressionable. You're young. You got to listen. You'll get spanked or sent to your room or grounded or cut down to size. And this is going to be the biggest challenge that we have to experience because you're living the most adult version of your energy up front as a child. So it's a very serious go, especially inside of Dean as well. Like these numbers are like extremely large right up front. So we know that 7s are going to be very powerful for intuition. We know that you guys can figure things out when you not by thinking, but by feeling or calling it in. So you see 7s in your name or chart, or you decide to use them, or you know that they're there. Just pay attention to the reality that you don't have to do anything by yourself. You can just like identify with the energy, use that thought, that playbook as a mental magnet, and watch the universe start to validate your belief system. Because it does, whether you like it or not, whether you're conscious of it or not, the universe is non-discriminatory, okay? It doesn't care how much you do, whatever you do. It only cares what you actually believe and what you actually like circulate around. The energy will magnetize. It's quantum physics. This is not spirituality. This is gravity, okay? Dean, what's up, bro?
So that would explain why. I mean, I'm so into the Neville Goddard and the Joseph Murphy and the Greg Braden and the Bruce Lipton and the Joe Dispenza and all the subconscious teachings, right?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I would imagine that this is like food for your soul. Like you have to understand this. And you know, 3 times you can't take this guy down. Like he's literally been, what is it? How like, you know, accident this, clinically dead that. Like you've been on the other side and back. To think that you actually, like, it opens you up. Like you're no longer normal. You have an access to your spiritual consciousness. And so you learning about this subconscious stuff, like some people only use a fraction of their brains. We all do. I'd like to think that, you know, dealing with Ricky energy or Dean energy or Gavin energy or like Jace energy, like all of you guys with the 9s in there, you're probably a lot closer to the stuff that's mystery that nobody knows about. So welcome to the mystery school of knowledge here, guys. Like, numerology is a really powerful way to become, like, to come to terms with the universe that we don't know what the hell we're doing and we don't know any of this, and to think that it actually shows up as a way of tangible, like, information. It's a huge blessing. So sevens, cool. I think I've hammered on this. In power, intuition. Without power, lack of expression. Pick your battles. With 8, in power, wealth. Without power, disassociation from self. The wizard becomes a warlock and uses, like, evil energy. When we have the 9, in power, global service to everyone else. In negative, no service to self. It won't localize. We step down one more to the 6. This value is even more powerful, and it looks like most people, the guys who've got the names in it, are showing up with this, but it doesn't show up in anyone's birthday. So it's going to be inside of your names. These are the party that's a dad, the party that's a husband, the party that's a spouse, the party that's a parent, the party that wants to lead, the party that wants to like, help others and to do things for other people. The value of 6 is the most balanced part of the whole chart. We take another quick peek here. We go, there's 5 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the center point, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 5 numbers on either side if I go up to 22. But the 6 is the most balanced place between love and money. So in case you guys got a bunch of kids like me, or you want to have a bunch of people there who invest in their business and they grow, you may be looking at taking a 6 as well inside of your chart. Like, I know Gavin's a full-time hands-on dad, but don't let it fool you. He's also this guy wants to be a leader as well, and is growing inside of his business as well. So he holds both numbers. My boy Benji didn't make it to the call. 6 and 8. How about DM Brown? 6 and 8. We got this value inside of here. Dean, you could move this around if you need to, but I think that the 6 is perfectly in line with creating wealth as well. I was born in this number. I use it as well, but I use the 8 and the 6 as well. Why leave it to just one number? Let's stack them both if you can. That's my usual vibration, is I'm trying to get into this area where there's either 6 or 8 or 6 or 8, pulling both values in. It's never a bad look, especially if you want to be a dad, or if you have kids, or you want to show up as a leader, you want to show up as a parent. That conscious energy to have patience, have care, and to have love for others. On the negative side of the 6, worst number ever. Sad, depressed, I can't do this. Dean Adam Rochefort Coakley has a negative 6 in it. Doesn't love himself the way he loves everyone else. That's a bad call out, because I know how much love this guy gives to everyone. And I remember fucking hugging this guy for the first time when I first met him. And I'm like, this is like, I'm meeting my soul brother here. And then looking at his name, I'm like, negative 6? Ouch. So basically everyone gets the best of you, but you save the worst for yourself. Dean's about to validate me here.
Yeah, sorry, man. That's I can totally relate, because it is the self-destruction. It has been fucking next level. There's nobody on this planet that could come as close to killing me and still live to tell about it.
I'm telling you, man, like, it's challenge. And like it's the biggest challenge is to think how much love and care you actually give to others. So going by Dean R. Coakley is like, you're beaming that love back out, and it also comes back into you. So I appreciate the boom, bro. But having the Dean Adam Rochefort Coakley, it's not helping. It'll get sad, depressed, self-destructive. I'm not worth it. I'm not good enough. Or there's a reason why I can't do this business. It'll start getting so into its own story and disconnect from itself. But the depression can be next level. Go for it.
Now, what about Dean Rochefort Coakley? I mean, it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, but we talked about this, and I think I want to do this.
And I know we do it to death, Bobby, and I really appreciate you going through it so clearly. We've had fucking more than one session, but you now you can understand, like, the rattling back and forth of why it's like.
It's okay. This is the space for us to do this. So, like, I know we've talked about it more than a few times. But this is the space for us to actually go through it with purpose and power because, hey, we're recording this for you. So you have to stop asking me. Now you get a chance to just watch the replay. just kidding, dude. No, we'll go through it 100 times if we need to. We're bros for life. We're going to be there for each other till the dying day. So,
you know what?
Hey, Dean, next Saturday, I'm going to give your ass a big...
Oh, you cut out. He's gonna give your big ass something.
I'm going to give you a big ass hug next Saturday.
I fucking love you too.
Absolutely. You guys are going up there. Hey, fuck, I got to get up there. I absolutely got to get up there.
You really do.
Have you not bought your ticket for Kelowna, Buck?
Dude, it's just, we're trying. I'm not even going to give you my level of excuses right now. So let's just get back to the reality. I got to get up there. Absolutely got to get up there. We're dealing with babysitting challenges right now. Okay, so we're good. But it's going to happen. But yes, so Dean Rochefort Coakley, it's a powerful move, whichever way you go. I like to think that either way you got a big climb. And it's either king or all-star. So depending on which way you want to rock, because you're like, dude, I'm conflicted. You're not conflicted. What's your dad's last name?
Rochefort.
That's it, man. You're born under your dad's name. It was their drama that gave you Coakley in the first place. So it wasn't you. Like it was your God right was to show up as Rochefort. And even I remember we were talking about it. You're like, what about just going Dean Coakley Rochefort? And you're like, I would be a piss to my mom, and she'd be all sad, like, why'd you take my last name? And this feeling is challenge. I get that you're that big of a heart and that big of a love that you're owning their drama as you run through it in life. I would think Dean Rochefort Coakley is the name that I wear. I wear Dean Rochefort Coakley on. Like, that's my number. So the fact that you would take that, I'm like, dude, you're good. But then you could take my number, or you could take my son's number. And I'm like, dude, either way, you're gonna make it. And these are long learning curves, and especially with the challenge you're going through. The -6 can be the most horrible thing to watch because your love is the best and you're not experiencing it yourself. So we have to rely on people like Jace to give you a big ass hug, because that feeling is to think, if I can't do it for myself, my boys are going to do it for me. And yeah, man, if you haven't had a good old Dean squeeze, you haven't lived. This guy will absolutely heal you in his in his energy. And I'll remember that the first time we met, we were fucking jumping around the kitchen, dude. It was crazy. So he just brings love into your life. This is what Dean will do. Until it gets late and he's like, I'm not going to go there. But we were having a lot of fun. Anyway, so, 6. Great number to have in balance. Such a shitty number to have working against you. And it could be somewhere in one of these individual names, okay? So in case you guys want to, go through your individual story when we can, I would absolutely recommend that we do spend a solid hour talking about you and only you. But this is at least a solid primer that we get a chance to move through. Let's talk about the 5. So here we go. Jace, this is you. Donovan, this is you. Ricky, this is you. Benji, this is you if you would be here. And also your original name, Jace, this is also you. So there's a value in this, and then even Jace as Donovan, of warrior, fighter, champion, the nomad, the traveler, the seek for freedom. So Jace is like, I gotta disassociate with power against where I came from. The 5 absolutely wants to run in its own direction. This is a challenge, but it's the challenger who wins. So we have these numbers showing up in power for us, but it also is the anti-wealth. This is the one that spends more than it makes, or runs into debt, or keeps the credit cards high, or doesn't want to answer the bill collectors, doesn't want to, solidify anything. It can be a challenge because it's like, oh, I've got commitment issues, or, oh, get your kids away from me, or oh, there's pregnancy in the air. Get the freaking, spray that out. The 5 doesn't want to experience that stuff. It wants to have its freedom. So we like to have you guys traveling. We like to have you guys in motion. We like to have a punching bag in the basement, or a pull-up bar on the doorway, but something you can do to physically move. There you go. There it is. See, that's what I'm talking about. He's living true to his numbers. Whenever you're getting super pissed, just be like, whatcha? And just smack that thing and absolutely take all of your rage, frustration, and energy out on it. You're trying to come up with the perfect ad and you can't, and you're about to your keyboard. Just get up, look at this thing, and just go boo, 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 and just trust me, it's going to feel good. The Reiki will flow through your hands when you get a chance to do it. On the spiritual side, we're going to see advocates. We're going to see people who speak for change. They're going to be people who's like Jason's like, dude, I'm coming at you. I'm going to give you a big bear hug, because he's going to speak up for those who don't speak up for themselves. The fives will do this. So we appreciate standing behind you guys. You are not the people we want to stand in front of. And when I'm like, Jason was like, oh, dude, I got you for the PayPal. Don't worry about it. I'm looking at his numbers. I'm like, no wonder. It's all good, dude. You'll get me when you get me. Like the five, that's like, it's like, what's that supposed to mean? The reality is that the fives are going to be catching up on their bills. This isn't something that you would pay months in advance. It's something that's going to be like, oh, I got it coming. And for me, I'm like, it doesn't, like, it's all good. Like, I'm not like, dude, where's my money? Break your legs. Like, it's not, for me, I'm not in that vibe. I'm in the vibe of like, I want to help this guy become wealthy. I want to help this guy become absolutely wealthy, because you're dealing with the feeling of speed and ambition and passion and motion. We like that vibe, but then when it shows up in the bank account, it may be more of a challenge than you'd like it to be. Okay, we're always working to create it, always working to make it happen. Look at myself. I got the -5, and it goes downward, inward, into silence. This was me beating myself up. This was me going into a negative energy. Gavin's got it in the negative. This guy works really freaking hard to no end. It's just absolutely, I'm going to get this done. Nothing's going to stop me, and I can't get out of that vibe. Same thing with Benji. Yeah, he's got the 4 and the 5 in there. This is vibration that will work really hard and doesn't know when to quit. It's okay, it sounds good, right? But then at the end of the day, when you can't go to sleep because you're still thinking about stuff, the 5 is going to be racing and racing and racing. We want to be able to quell that somehow. So we don't want to change your vibration to the point where you're sitting in a box somewhere. Freedom is the name of the game. So let's create a freedom style business. And this is what makes it even more difficult to think that your name doesn't work for you, because I'd rather just do this. And like, I don't want to actually identify with it anymore because of the challenge you've had to go through. I want you to change your name legally. But the reality is that your name has a 5 warrior passion in it. And you also have that as a life path. So when you took Jace S. Donovan, I'm like, this is like perfect for you, because you don't have to give up the 5. You're still going to be someone who's going to be passionate with your freedom. But now you want to absolutely, like your vibration says, that you absolutely want to solidify your leadership, as well as your fighter, as well as your lover, that feeling of you moving into passion and leadership. The reason why I trust this number so much, Sally is a 156. So I know that she's dedicated and committed, and nothing will stand in her way for greatness. So when you take a number like this, I'm like, you're in good hands. You're in good energy. Do you want to raise it at some point? Maybe. Do you want to change it? Sure. I mean, if that's something you want to talk about, we can absolutely, go into what that would look like. But if you were like, nah, I'm happy. I like this. I feel it. I feel the vibe. It's not about raising to the top. It's about raising to the front of where you need to be. So it's a wonderful feeling inside of that. Okay. So let's take a look a little bit further. 5s, warriors. For the lack of wallet, they carry extra blades and extra guns and extra knives and extra bullets. So we know we're taking them into battle with us. These are the guys that we get drunk together and someone starts picking a fight, you're going to be there throwing punches with me. Absolutely will. Like, and I'm not afraid. You're not going to be like, guys, just calm down. You're going to be like, what the fuck you say? And that shit's going to get really escalated when we see 5 energy in the mix. You guys are absolutely going to fight for people as well when you get in there. Is that Ricky's elbow? Did you got a bone poking out there, dude? Oh, he's just scratching. I thought he was showing me his battle scars. So what we're looking at here is we're going to look at the 4, okay? Yeah, Ricky's going through a challenge right now. Look at this. Look at Ricky's vibe. He's in a 5/9. There's a battle zone you're in the middle part of your life. Anyone else have it? No. But there's a battle zone in the middle of your life, and that feeling can be like, I lose or I have to run. You're at a trucking stop, so you're in motion. So you're absolutely living to a power level of number in there. But the value of 5 is best left for ambition and championing towards business, as opposed to fighting myself or depleting myself. The -8 and the -5, this can lead us to too much drinking, too much weed, too much smoking, too much of anything can show up in this vibe, okay? So we're looking at now the 4. So we got Donovan here, April, brings a powerful level of stability and structure. Donovan Brown, again, another really solid number. See, these are your numbers here. This is good. hardworking, absolutely a pleasure to be around. When we see these 1, 3, 4 Donovan Browns, that's just how he is. He's going to be a fun-loving guy to work with. But when we see 4s in our chart, we see practical, we see logical, we see someone who's going to be a little kind of, I'm blessed that you're open-minded, but the skepticism can also be there to think, what is this? I'm thinking in terms of linear thinking, or I want to, follow the order, follow the process, follow the step. This is not the warrior. This is now the farmer, the builder, the engineer, the one who absolutely wants to keep things moving in a progressive form. So we have people like Gavin with this number. Dean, through this number got thrown away, which would have like saved your butt from a lot of situations, because this number would have just been like, I keep my rules in order. So the fact that it isn't, or wasn't, or didn't, can really speak a lot of testament into that. But we see the 4. We know that we know that you guys take quality in your work. And to think that you had this for the first 27 years of your life, Donovan, that feeling of the 4, it even shows up all the way throughout your life. You're a safe bet. It may not be the fastest, but it will be the most dedicated for sure. It may not be the quickest, but you can definitely think, I didn't just slap this thing together. I actually did the work. I'm actually going to do the work, and you're gonna find a pleasure and a joy in it. But the challenge could be, I'd like this to move a little bit faster. So to think that thing could move a little bit, like with more speed, we look back again here, and I'm just going to quickly pull this out. When I'm looking at numbers, we're coming down to the 1, right? 4 stands for time is money. This is the number of mechanical wealth. I got to do it all myself. I got to figure it out. I got to learn everything before I do anything. When we look inside of the 8, it's like, you know what? Somebody will figure it out. Let's just think like a boss, act like a boss. And so there's vision in your 9, but in the 4, there could be my time is being at expense here. So this is like guilty to leave the job, or I'm going to be really responsible and take care of others, or like I have to commit, or that feeling of I'm going to build someone else's business. Like Donovan Brown at the workplace, it's like the boss's favorite. Like everybody loves working with you. You easily get promoted. You're going to validate me here. Go for it, bro.
That's crazy, because that's what the fear of leaving the job. I didn't want to leave everything and then say, I'm not, what am I leaving to start the new journey, right? It's like, wow, everybody, we just had a big layoff at work, 135 people. Sad to hear, but I'm still there. And the boss is like, oh, we need you here. It's like, oh.
You're going to be a powerful leader inside of work. They're going to want to promote you. You're indispensable. Okay, like that Donovan Brown is like, and you're happy to do it. You are so happy to do it. It's like, it's crazy. But I'd like to really zone in on this fact that you're building someone else's business with all that leadership. And they're like, oh, we're going to promote you. They're going to wave that candy in your face and just wave that carrot in your and you're going to feel fulfilled doing it, which is the challenge, because the problem is that the 4 says I got to invest all of my time in to get this done, and your 9 says I want to impact the world. I want to change how people. And so I would say your safe bet. This is another Balagism. Is to think that it takes you can build this in your spare time until your income in your part-time business starts to topple over your daily income in your work life, and then it just logically won't make sense to be at your job anymore. So keep them both until you have to. Great, your job is now your funding source. It's all good, but
right. Leverage.
Absolutely. Sooner or later, you will build it. And it does pick up speed, especially now. We're going to put some names on this to absolutely help it out. But cool. Okay. And Jace, I appreciate you, my brother. So what we're looking at is the 4 being a really strong level of stability, structure, and in Donovan's case, it's kicking him in the butt because it's actually working for him. It's creating a stability and a structure and like a foundation for him. Because this name, as it says, works too hard. It works, but it works too hard. So I get it, okay? We're going to boost this up, and we're going to do something to this, and we'll talk about moving this around. The challenge here as well, guys, your antennas, your phones are radios, and you broadcasting to the world what your name says about you, it holds magnetic, energetic weight. So you can't help it. You can't just be like, oh, I'm not going to read his name. You're going to know exactly what it is. Like, don't think of pink elephants. It's like, oh, shit. Okay. Well, the reality is that when someone says your name unconsciously, they're already adding up the letters inside of it, and it's making a spell. Okay. So we're looking at now, let's travel back down to the 3. We're going to see Jace is born on the March. We got Ben in March. Ricky's going to be in his 3, and I don't know how many years from now when you become 55. Okay, so in like 10 years or something. But what we're looking at is a value here to think of, and where else is it inside of names? Donovan has it in his name. Jace has it in his name. Fun, charismatic, tattoos. Let's have a good time. Great guy to crack a couple beers with. Super fun and friendly. Like big kid on the inside. Like still has the joy of being a child. Doesn't need to, get up and get older and think about long term. It just wants to play and have fun. So these are the boys who want to rip it up and great jokes, and will definitely love to poke and fun at each other because the 3s are great buddies to have. So when we see 3s, you bring love and joy into your friendships and into your relationships. But if you guys have serious relationships, there's a part of your spouse that's like, can you just act older for a minute? And they're like, no, I can't do it. I'm young at heart. I'm going to be, and that feeling is going to be inside of Donovan Michael Brown. I mean, it may look serious, but he's going to have a big kid on the inside. It's going to have a lot of fun on the inside. And even at the workplace, Donovan Brown, I like to have fun while I work. And you're a pleasure to work with. People want to be there. They're laying off over 100 people, and then they're looking at this list. Oh, Donovan, no, we gotta keep Donovan. He's not on the list. He's on the safe list. Okay, so immediately they're gonna see that. Or how about in challenge? Rick A. Bowden. This is a challenge. It doesn't say business. It just says love. It just says enjoyment. So there's a challenge inside of that vibe to think that this isn't helping you inside of business. Whereas inside of Jace's original name, it does show up for super fun, fast-loving, passion, and then business. I'm like, oh, this is a great name. You're like, no, it's not. I'm like, no, it's not. So I get it. I mean, if you don't want to hold on to it, we won't. But the challenge was that numerologically speaking, it actually did bring the big kid into the picture and absolutely help you have fun with it. But we can either put it back, figure it out somewhere, or just move over and be like, look, you're not in these numbers. The first one shows up from 0 to 27 years old. So there may have been a time for Jace to be young and fun and Ben to be young and fun, but the day may have now gone old and you're like, no, I've got to step into my maturity now. So we'll talk about that, how that works. When you get a little bit older, we'll see it. But the 3, if you guys have this could be powerful with a super shredder on the guitar, or maybe you like to have fun, or maybe you like to dance or sing or write, or maybe you just like to play lots of vids. But the 3 is your big kid on the inside, okay? Stepping down now into the 2, it's interesting how these numbers come a bit faster now because as they go down, they get more and more simple. 2 stands for partnership. So where do we got 2s? Nobody's showing it inside of their birthday, but inside of our names, Dean Marcel Rochefort, the most loyal guy you'll ever see. Absolutely. Benji Trenkner has got it now. DM Brown has it. These are our coaches, our partners, our mentors, the people who will help us get through something, that will work with us. They want to help other people. They want to work with other people and not against other people. They want win, win, win. And I hold it in my life path. 11 is also a 2. And it's just the mastery version of it. But that vibe shows up as, I'm going to do this with you. Let's hold hands and get this thing done together. Let's build this. Let's lock arms. Let's work together, and not let's work by myself. The negative part of the 2, I can't do things on my own. I have to do them with other people. I've got no self-motivation. I can't quickly get this done with myself. I need to have someone there with me to help me out. So Jace is dealing with this because he's going through a 2 right now inside of his birthday. 1 + 1 is 2. I leave it as 11 because that's your spiritual conduit to absolutely bring in a higher level of consciousness to help you through. But we like this because the 2 will make you a really solid friend and a really trustworthy guy. You say you're good for it, you will be. You say you be there, you will. You say you're going to do something, you will do that. You will sacrifice yourself even for the relationship, for the partnership, for the ability to move forth for someone else. So we like that. It's not bad, but at the same time, it's a challenge to stand up for ourselves sometimes. And great, we can put that back into the place. Jace did. It wasn't inside of his chart, the number one. He put it in there. So now it is, and now it's working to his advantage. Now you have a space to grow into your leadership. If it wasn't hanging around your birthday or somewhere else, it could just take a couple extra swings around the sun to actually grow that level of leadership, because it might have been an absent number before we put the S in there. Now we come down to the number one. Ricky's got this, born in October. I've got this, born on the 28th. Dean's got this, born in 1981. Independence, assertive, leader, the one, the one who needs to stand on top, the owner of your business, the one who does not want to be in a job. Like, you know, if you've never been to fuckwork.com, I challenge you. You got to go and check this guy out. This is basically Dean's thing. Like, this is where he wanted to get into, is that feeling of one day I'm going to be my man. I'm going to be the one I need to be. Ricky had to learn this gladly. Ricky got this as a kid, because as a 9, you're feeling everyone's energy. But for you to be able to have as a 1 now, and to have a youth inside of October, you're going to stand tall in yourself. You're going to stand tall in who you are, and that's going to be a very, very important piece of your makeup, to know that you get the yin yang right up front. 1/9, emergency healer, the one who runs in to help everyone else. It's your given right to do that. You want to. Okay, so I appreciate you being this massive level of universal energy. At least you get the 1 up front, to know that you're going to stand in your own solid ground, and you're going to say stuff. Look at that. Look at this little guy. That's Jace's bird. That's awesome. He's going to poop on us. He's like, it's good luck if you get pooped on by a bird. I had a bird when I was a kid.
Shit, I'm the luckiest guy on earth then.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's just so super. I remember one time I had a bird inside a house, and it was like, it landed on us, and we were playing with it, because it was a part of the family, and inside the house you didn't have a cage. Coolest feeling ever. If you've never had a bird land on you, it's so cool. And then he's like picking my finger. I'm like, oh, that hurts. And he's just like, bird's just like, no, he's just getting to know you. It's just a wonderful feeling. But that's awesome. Does it say anything?
Sometimes. The girlfriend's cooking in the kitchen. She doesn't want him doing what he just did. So we're already having chicken. We don't need squab too.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so cool. That's crazy. So, okay, we got the ones. Leaders, independent. This is sense of self. So if you're like in this case, this is a message for my boy Dean. You may be dealing with a huge battle, bro, but in the third part of your life comes a moment for you to actually step into your power. Ricky, I hope that in the first 27 years of your life that you get a solid sense of who you are. Donovan, you're a leader. You absolutely are a leader. And you may not stand up to the plate as much, or maybe you might be a bit more independent in some areas, but there is a name path 1 that has the vision of standing on top and being in there. Jace is going to be a very powerful level of heart-centered warrior leader. He fights for love, and he fights for others in a very strong way. This is not a bad number. I'm marrying this number because my wife actually has this, and I need a strong woman in my league. I can't just have a weak, halfway woman. I like strong women in my life. So the fact that she has this number makes me feel very passionate in her level of leadership. When Jay shows up this way, he's the guy who's going to fight for the people he loves, and he will lead from the heart first. So we like ones when they're in good spaces. When they're in negative spaces, when they're looking like, in this case, Donovan Michael Brown doesn't know how good he is. I'm sorry to say it. You don't know how powerful you are. You are too humble for your own good. And it's challenging your abilities, because this is like, here, give him some powerful numbers, and here, give him this. So like, what's this for? It's going to blindfold him. Now you can't see in front of you. Let's take every mirror out of his house so he won't be able to see his own power. And it's just going to be a tough thing to experience. You know, maybe one day the name gets changed over. I'm not sure. Dean, and I found this at 27, because I found a 1 at 27. Up until then, it was like, oh, whatever you need, I'm going to help you. No big deal. I'm going to take care of you. But at 27 years old, I was like, no, screw it. I've done enough of that. I got to take care of myself. Dean's going to get this as a wise old man one day. I don't think wise old man ever can be aligned with Dean. He's a wise young guy. but you're never going to get old. It's just the reality of your numbers. Like I can see it. But the feeling is that you're going to find your independence. You're going to find your stance. You're going to find where it is that you want to stand up for yourself. And then when we see it in Ricky, we're like, God bless this guy for the amount of massive level of energy that you have to deal with and experience on this planet to stand in front and know who you are right up front. This helps me really fall in massive levels of trust with you. But then Ricky A. Bowden, again, super humble, doesn't recognize his own power. And that's probably one of the more powerful bits of you. But to think this business is going to really help you with it, I would like to think that your leadership will grow, that people want to follow you and they want to be around. I like the love beams out of this guy. And you can definitely see that that one is like, it's probably doing more like blinding you than it is doing power in you. Whereas October comes and helps your power. So this is our number set, guys. It shows up in your wives. It shows up in your kids. Shows up in your parents. Shows up in your business. It shows up in your clients. I'm going to share something with you guys. This is some cool stuff here, okay? So let's go life path, okay? So you're like, this is a bit of training here for you guys. I'm just gonna drop this in the group so that you guys can experience some of this stuff. This is life path, okay? This is learning someone's birthday. Then we have name path. This one's a little challenging to use, so you may have to go back into the replay to figure this out. So Pythagorean, okay? You're gonna write your name. So what's the name? We're gonna go Jace, okay? So Jace is gonna be this. I think this should be. Let's.
Oh, this website actually quantifies the Pythagorean theorem based on your name.
Yeah, this is my numerology. This is how I work. This is basically what I do. So it shows you what the numbers are, but you have to calculate. You have to like do it a bunch of times. So when you write your name, after you write your name, make sure it's Pythagorean and make sure it calculates. The way that I do numerology is, oh, sorry, hold on. I'm going to clear this. This is like super weird because it doesn't really work. Y is a consonant. Okay. So the way that it works is that the vowels show up in the one space and the consonants show up in the bottom spaces. I've got my own app coming out. It's so super sick. It's like, I just want to show this to you guys because like, I'm like, oh my fucking God. So I will put this together in a minute, but I wanted to show you guys this. This is my site. I don't know if you guys can see this right now. Let's put it like this. So basically you go in here and you write your, so you're gonna use my app. It's gonna be so super sick. And then you basically enter your name and it's gonna do this for you. So you're gonna enter your name and it's basically gonna show you whether or not the number works or not. So if it's a good line, it's gonna show up with the green. If it's a bad line, it's gonna show up with the red. And you're gonna get a chance to see what that, if the vibe works. So until that comes out, you guys have to wait and you have to use a shitty website like this. But I put both the links in there. So this will help you to understand what people are like, okay? So in case you got a lead, you're like, oh, this guy's name is John. Okay, I'm gonna put John in there and make sure I calculate, and it's Chaldean. And I'm gonna be able to think, oh, to be happy, close to family. Okay, person who likes adrenaline rush, his or her veins, you enjoy life, potential to be adored with people, you like to help others. Okay, cool, I like that. Okay, so then when you talk to this person, you're going to use words like, like think of the time you can spend with your family, or like, I remember you talking about your family. I get you. Like this is a really strong community, or like, there's a value when you hit those big checks and you get like thousands of dollars in the mail, it sends a rush through you. So you get a chance to learn how to speak their language when you guys use numerology. And a bunch of you guys all validated me when I were talking about this. What I'm about to go through next is literally just a point blank, like water gun to your head version of what your numbers look like. And I want to line these up once and for all. And some of you guys have already got them done. If you want to do this again, you can. Like Gavin took my course. Like he sat with me like for 4 days, like, juggling his kids and learning this language with me. Like, and he's back again. And he's like, I want more of this. I want to get through this. I'm not done being a student. I'm like, with a life path like this, you're never done. And so you're making like multi-millions, dude. Like, you're on the path. So cool. Numerology, it ain't no joke. It shows up in dates. It shows up in your on your calendar. It shows up, you know, in your bank account. It shows up everywhere. If you guys know someone's birthday, it's a qualifying question. If you want to work with someone, you're like, so, you know, I just want to make sure I know, you know, who I'm speaking to. You know, what birthday are you? You can even creep their Facebook page and see and get a small little quick thing in there. If you got a bunch of people, you know what some people do? They book a full hour. They book half an hour with me, and they one by one go over the list of their leads. Like, how do I talk to this person? What's this person need? Well, how do I get in? And it's like a wonderful thing to know that you can help someone where they're at on their level. How about your kids? All right, like, I'm like, to know what's happening with your children, to get their numbers and their things in there. Oh my God. If you haven't yet, I will, like, we're coming to the end of our time. I'm going to give you guys some gifts. I'm giving you guys all written reports if you don't have one yet. Okay, so you guys need to get written owner's manuals for yourself. If you guys go out there and film me a 1 to 2 minute like testimonial, and you guys let me use something for my marketing, so that I can show other dudes that it's okay for dudes to talk to dudes about weird stuff, and you can help me like expand my influence to other guys, I will give you another written report. It's like an owner's manual. Gavin, you've got one of these, right? You've read yours. Can you unmute and sort of like share with the group like what this thing looks like?
Yeah, for me it was 70 odd pages. It goes through, I haven't looked for a while, but it goes through you know, all the numbers he's talking about and gives you explanation of what they mean and details pretty much everything that's going on for you. And yeah, it makes it easy to understand what is actually happening, what has happened and why. And yeah, it gives you a pretty cool understanding of, yeah, what's going on.
Dude, you've changed, man. You sound different. You feel different. Like, it's crazy. And it's not to think like a year ago we were doing this, and now we're almost, and you're moving through a different energy frequency. So it's just so super awesome to see that, man. And I appreciate you for chiming in for me there. So cool reports. I'm going to give you guys free reports. There's also discounts for you guys too. So if you guys do want to work with me, I'm not going to charge you guys full price, okay? Because you guys have invested yourselves inside of a group session. And absolutely, if I do a group session again and you guys want to be in there and help me run some energy inside of that as a refresher anytime, no two sessions are the same. And it's a wonderful feeling to think that I got love for you guys as well. I also do monthly calls for people inside of the group in case you want to have a moment to speak or a value for you to share your value with others. I want to have a platform for your leadership, for your communication. So let's go through this, okay? We're gonna go through this, and we're basically not gonna do anyone who's not here, okay? So I'm gonna give you a small, quick little reading, and then I'm gonna line up your name. So Ricky's here for this. Let's hope your connection doesn't cut out on this one, but let's do this. Life Path 9, Ricky's a huge heart. He's more universe than he is man. And this feeling is going to feel the love and the joy and the pain of others more than your average person. Ricky, you got a massive level of heart, and you spend the first 27 years of your life in leadership, independence, the feeling of speaking up, being like, and super non-disrespectful. Is it okay if I not hunt anymore? Like, you know, this feeling of like standing up, and it's like, I'm going to stand up for myself, but I feel like I'm shooting myself in the foot here if I kill an animal. So I can't really do that because I feel connected to them in a very strong way. That one will stand up for itself and give you that level of independence. You got a strong will to you as well. Then enters the fight. From 27 to 55, it's a movement. If you're at a trucking stop, and I would imagine that's probably what you do, is like to move energy around and to always be in motion. Guy's literally in his car right now. 5 is a nonstop number of I want to be in motion. So we got to connect here and disconnect here and connect to this. That 5 is going to be angry. You're going to have a lot of emotions as well. Most of them aren't even going to be your anger. You're going to be angry about the way that others are treated. You're going to be angry for others more than you're even angry for yourself. This is like, I can barely see myself here. We'll look at this in a second, but you're the people's warrior, the people's champion. The 9 shows up as a giant heart, and the 5 shows up as a giant sword. So we like this. This is good, but you're probably running after finances. You're running late from them or catching up to them. When we message each other, we're like, we're trying to find the will. Like I can imagine how difficult this must be, and to think, like, this hurts my throat. That you've had to lose your little one, you had to lose your dad. Like, this is a path, a war's path inside of the main part of your life, and the way that you will find serenity, open road, getting out there, moving, getting like changing your scenery, trying new things. This challenging part of the 5 will show up as a value for others. You will fight for people. Then we have the 3. When you become 55, you stop getting older, you get younger, you will feel your youth. Your 3 is your child energy. So imagine that you actually grow into your little inner boy. Your inner child comes forth, and you're living life a little bit backwards. You got the tough stuff up front, and you got the fun and the sun vibration heading for you, where you're like, life's too serious. Like, I can't fight for everyone. I can't, all you got really is to just enjoy, and be blessed and be in gratitude. And you're really embodying that right now. When we look at Ricky A. Bowden, you're not you're business minded, but you can't see yourself, super humble, and you're going to end up giving it all out to other people, and it's not going to recognize for you. What I would suggest is you either take out the letter A, and you're going to be in a value of 718, which says this is actually you, Ricky Bowden. Okay, so this vibration here will say independent, intuitive, leader, and business. It doesn't have the value of a bunch of love the way that we would like you to see you with. So in case you do want to take a letter, Ricky G, Ricky P, or Ricky Y Bowden now suddenly shows up as a value of intuitive, connected to source and soul, business-minded, heart-centered communication. You now start to monetize on yourself a little bit. This gives you the emotional range. So it would be Ricky G, Ricky P, or Ricky Y. If you're like, I don't know about this letter stuff, even Ricky Bowden will still work. But Ricky Allen Bowden won't. We could try Rick Allen Bowden if you want, or Ricky Allen. There are other ways that you could show up in case you do want to. Curiously enough, do any of these ones show up for you powerfully, or do you want to test the name with a different vibe? And I'm just going to unmute you so I can get you if you want to unmute yourself, or did I unmute you at the same time? Hey, how's it going? So what are you thinking for a name?
Man, I've rolled around in my head, several different times. But even I didn't know if I can just do my abbreviations, RAB, 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 or the only reason I added my A to it this time, because it was Ricky Bowden, I added it to that because before we was reading it, it was going to be the best, strongest point for me. But and the Italians name me Sunny, S-U-N-N-Y, because I always brought sunshine every time I came into their city. But I don't know. I'm open for any kind of ideas, man.
Okay. If I'm going to give you the best name that's like literally available for you right now, if you were to go Ricky Allen Bowden, okay, and you were to take this whole thing, this is challenging because this is like lack of sense of self. You're more universe than you are man. I would go with Ricky Allen X Bowden. Okay, if you wanted to take a really like cool looking name, or Ricky X Allen Bowden. Okay, and the X would stand for like the universal, like meets the globe. But this feeling, you could also take this one. You could take O, Ricky Allen O Bowden. But this value inside of your full name, I would do this either legally or just on Facebook. But to take the value inside of that would absolutely move you into a value of boss mode, queen or king. So in your case, king vibration. But the value would be inside of here. So it would be like, I care for others, I speak for others, I bring sunshine with me, I'm a king in my own right, and I absolutely will actualize on that. So this is, we're going to take this out because it's a men's only group. So, queens around us here. We're all God-like men, and that feeling inside of here is to feel that vibe. So this would be F, X, or the letter O would be the most powerful versions of you. The next most powerful version of you would be Ricky G. Bowden, Ricky P. Bowden, Ricky Y. Bowden. You could even do this. You can go Ricky with 2 Y's and just go Ricky Bowden and just do it like that. In case you're like, I'm really not feeling the double letter, the double initial, but these vibrations, and G could stand for godlike or gratitude. P could stand for powerful, whatever you want to make it, it's up to you. But I would say that you should do that. If you want to keep the letter A and you want to go Ricky A, I would go Ricky AX, Ricky AF, or Ricky AO, or like Ricky AF Bowden, right? Like straight up. But this value would be like, you're adding 2 letters in there, would definitely move powerful. Like Ricky Axe Bowden could be short for Alan. And you could just say Axe is short for Alan, right? Whatever. But the value here, again, is a value that shows up for business, spirituality, and heart-based centered. Right now, you're dealing with Bobby Perryhar without the F in it. It just doesn't sound good. But when I put the X, or in my case, I put the F, and I basically, balanced myself out, this is something I would absolutely consider. Does that help? Does anything sort of poke out at you more than the rest?
And see, I like the G factor in it because I named my son Gage, Gage. But I like the G factor in with my name. I guess Ricky G. Bowden.
Can we take that for business as well?
Whichever, all the way around. That'd be fine.
Okay, so if you were to take something, because these are big names. Okay, when you take a bigger name, it may take a little bit longer to figure it out. Okay, it took me like 3 years to figure this out. Ricky A. If it was, or we're looking Rick. So Rick A. Bowden, right? If it was AB, AK, or AT Bowden, you would be moving a lot faster, and this would be basically a movement into business, fun and fast. Or if you want to take the big road, Ricky G. Bowden, and you take it everywhere. You take it everywhere you go, and you're looking at your life path here. It may not be bad to take a 5 and a 3 while you're experiencing this part of your life, because this is where you're at. This is who you are. So there may be a fun version for Ricky A.T. Bowden or Ricky A.B. or A.K. But if you want to play at the big level, then you are going to take Ricky G. Bowden.
I think that's probably what I want to take, because also my dad that passed away as well, his first name was Grady G.
Perfect sentiment to Dad. Absolutely perfect sentiment to Dad. And sorry, it's Bowden or Bowden? Bowden.
Bowden, yeah.
Cool, thanks.
Bowden.
All right. Ricky G. Bowden, what's up? Oh, man, this feels good. You just got a massive level of upgrade. And I have to say, based on personal experience, this is a wonderful name. Now, legally speaking, please consider it. Consider changing your name legally, either putting an X, an F, or just becoming Ricky G. Bowden one day. But this thing is energetically oversensitive, and it can be a very difficult number to run. You may need to be alone for a very long, like a massive amount of time. You may need to be alone in nature with animals. Like, they'll get you more than people will. People are attacked by the ego, and you're just like, man, there's so much hurt and pain and loss in this world. And like, your level of altruism is next level. So this is an old soul, okay? You're not here for the first time. This is like next to God. This is almost like God's like, I'm going down there. And this is where we get a chance to see your vibe, okay? So it's an absolute blessing and a pleasure to have you here, my brother.
Yeah, right on, brother. I appreciate you and how everything lines out together, man, for our journey together and the placement of the people in my life, everything that happens in our lives. It's just such a blessing. And I've had my own wild journeys other than recently. It's been a long life, but other than that, though, I'm still here. I'm blessed to be here. I know my journey is not finished. I know I have a lot of mindset development to do and get everything situated and lined out right.
Speak from the heart. Speak from the heart. Whenever you do anything to do with business, and you already do this, but I would love to see you doing something once a week or once every few days where you talk to people and you preach the good word for at least half an hour. Like, you'll help people. You will help people for sure, because you'll channel that information next level. Absolutely. All right, cool.
Now,
So, sorry.
what about on my business name? What about Rick G. Bowden? How does that work?
No, it doesn't. We're gonna if you go with Rick, if you want Rick and you go Rick Bowden, you need another letter. So I'm just gonna quickly balance this out for you. It would be either the letter C or the letter L. So Rick C. Bowden, Rick L. Bowden, or you could do Rick U. Bowden, but Rick C. or Rick L. is much more serious, and it also speaks to the value of God. So these are the values that show up for, like, literally God is 628. So it's like the power of the universal creator. So that would be Rick C. or Rick L. But this is tough because you're taking letters that aren't yours. Unless you're cool with it and you're like, I don't mind. I would like to think that we put some sort of congruency together for you as well.
Yeah, right on. I think I'll just go with the G on both, on my business and on. Does it need to be a G dot Bowden, or just leave out the dot?
If you said dot, it would abbreviate something. So you got to say Gage or you got to say Grady. But other than that, if you just put the letter G, I don't use an F, and I actually have a middle name. So I don't actually abbreviate the F like this. I just put it as F, and consider that Balaj actually does, Balaj W Cardos, and the W doesn't even stand for anything. So, take it for a grain of salt. It really doesn't matter.
Okay, right on. I appreciate you, Bobby.
I appreciate you too, brother. We'll be friends for life. I promise you that.
Right on.
Donovan, so let's do this. Let's get you, oh man, I want to get you working for yourself. Life Path 9, again, huge heart. This guy cares a lot about people. You're dealing a lot with the same Ricky energy here. You're in a 9/9 right now. When we look at your path, you got to work hard. You're going to learn how to work hard. It's going to have its OCD in order, and you're going to absolutely keep your things together, and you're working really hard with that 4. From 0 to 27, you're the guy. Absolutely, early bird gets the worm. You care a lot about others, and you're absolutely going to sacrifice for other people for sure. But then the energy gets a little bit heavy when you turn 27, and it lasts until you're 55. This 9/9 can become egoically inconsistent. So you're not going to recognize yourself. Super humble, going to always take care of others first. Connected to nature. That 9/9, the same way it affects Ricky, it's going to affect you too. You may need to remove yourself from others at time to time to recharge and get back to yourself. Makes for a powerful introvert. And it doesn't mean that you're not going to be social. It just means that you'll regain energy from yourself and not from other people. So when we look at this, it's not always going to be this way. It goes from farmer and into warrior. So I know there's a passionate side of you that's going to be, gaining its confidence as you grow through life. But the value inside of here is that impact over profit, altruism over corporation. Like, you want to help the world, but we do see that there is a value for wealth in you. We absolutely see that you're not afraid to work hard, and that even DM Brown, like, it's not a bad look. It's just a good vibe. I want to reassociate Donovan Brown. Now, taking a name could be an interesting concept because, I would like to think, is there a chance for us to use Don Brown or Don Michael Brown or Donovan Mike Brown? Like, are there variations to this that we're willing to play with? Or is there like a certain place you want to go to, just a single letter?
No, there's for sure. There's good. There's things to play with. There's I run Donovan Michael Brown sometimes on different stuff. Donovan M Brown. So
let's play with it.
Yeah.
So first things first, Donovan Michael Brown. It's a challenge because Michael's an epic name. I know Brown is, and Donovan. I'm just going to take a quick little peek here. It's going to see what's going on here. Works way too hard. Way too hard. Like, your back hurts. Okay, like Donovan's like works till he's like, like, you're not working until you're hurting. Okay, like you are the guy. I promise you this. Like, this is a very hard working energy.
You ready for this? I do. I work for the corporation. I work for 40 hours a week. I own my own tree business that I work till dark time most of the time. And then I started a Magic business in 17. So, yeah. You think so?
I'll tell you something. Your magic business is the one that's going to suffer the most because of these numbers. So, but everyone else gets your attention. Everyone else gets your time and your energy. And then when it's done and you're done, you're like tired to do stuff and you're still trying to figure it out. Your creative juices are just like, so what we really want to do is to consider, again, I would make a consideration that one day you get a legal name alignment. If that's the case, I'd put a GP or Y on this or an N or a W somewhere if you want to keep this. Michael's a great middle name. Now, another really good version of this may be you, Donovan M. Brown. This is literally your name. It balances you out, and it takes you from, I just want to work really hard, and I'm going to go shine your shoe for you, sir. And in this vibration now shows up as a vibe that says, I'm independent, I'm powerful, I've got a vibe. Look at this. This is pretty neat. Again, Donovan M. Brown. Same thing, Ricky Bowden. Like, you guys are, there's a lot in alignment with your guys' chart. You guys should be friends. But this value shows up as independence, intuition, and value in business. Okay, so it's a bit more of the, I got to stand back a little bit and get this. In order to get this, it's not the hardworking vibe. So you taking a name like this gives me a good value for you. You could also take, without it was 134, right? So you could also take Donovan B, K, or T Brown. That would also work, and that would give you a vibration like that Jace has got going on right now, which is to think, hey, I'm going to be powerful in leadership, passionate and ambitious. I got a lot to do, and I speak from the heart. Right now it says I've got a power of leadership. I just want to make you happy, and I'll do whatever you tell me to do because I know that I'm going to make you happy doing this. Like, you're talking to your boss here, and he's like, I like you. We're going to promote you, and you're going to easily rise through the ranks, but it's going to be a challenge because you're not working for yourself. So, Donovan M. Brown, this is more like you in your own business, okay? What about something like Donovan Mike Brown? Just going to see what this looks like. Donovan Mike works really well. Here we go. This is the one I was looking for. Okay, this is like my top pick. This is like my first running streak. This one says Master King, okay? We have a balancing effect and a wonderful feeling of heart-centered and absolutely legacy wealth, legacy income, family power, like dad of the year, husband of the year. This is all points covered in one single name. Communication, leadership, fun, passion, care, purpose, on point. This is it. And this is like the highest level vibe you could take in order to really like speak and jive from the heart. One of my top picks. You could have even just been like, I like M better. I like to be a little bit more reserved and quiet. Another really good one, DM Brown. That's not a bad vibe. So in case you use DM Brown, you're good there, but it's all about making that shift. So in case you're like, I want to shift in my business a little bit, you may want to move this around into a bigger vibe or into a different one. Donovan Mike Brown, what are your thoughts? Are you feeling any?
Well, my business page is DM Brown.
Yep.
And I mean, it's that's great that the numbers jive there and everything else, and it's and like you just said a little while ago, my magic business is going to suffer because I'm so tired from everything else, and that's what it is, and that's where it is. I mean, I got goosebumps when you said that. I was like, son of a bitch, right on.
So which one here? Are we liking Donovan Mike Brown, Donovan M. Brown for a bit more of a quiet look, or do you like the heart center?
I mean, Donovan M. Brown is something I have used before, and I mean, Donovan Mike Brown, that's kind of cool too. I mean, that's like brings it right up there and whatnot. I'm cool with. I gotta figure that out though. That's
okay. What we're gonna do is I'm never gonna refer to you as Donovan Brown again. I'm gonna either it's M or Mike. But whatever you choose, just make sure that you sign your name this way, you introduce your name this way, you identify, you journal this way. Let's put it this way. The more you want to be with people, the more I would suggest you take Mike. The more you want to be independent and people smell and you just rather get this thing done on your own and you rather hug a tree, then I would probably just take M. Okay, so you get a chance to go into social or independence. Mike or M. Okay, so those are the differences between them. But there's more love inside of Donovan Mike Brown. So just so you know.
Okay, cool.
And now we're gonna go to my brother Jace. Did you have you're in the okay, so I've got a question for you, but I'm gonna wrap your numbers around for you first. Warrior, absolute fighter. Okay, so we know that there's a dummy in the side of your, like, you got your punching bag right there. Like,
That's Bob.
That's Bob. Hey, don't give him my name. Like, come on, man.
No. He's literally a body opponent bag. That's what he's called.
Yeah. So no wonder I feel like a punching bag. So anyway, this warrior vibration, I'm blessed that you have an outlet for your physical attention. This is going to keep you healthy. This is going to keep your mind right. This is one of the values inside of you that's like, oh man, this poor Bob over here he's taking the brunt end of a lot of stuff, and that's a wonderful place to put it. Okay, so the 5 shows up that way. You get frustrated, Bob's going to get the brunt of it. Go for a run. Go go outside. Go for a smoke. Whatever you can do to change your vibe immediately, this 5 will be so thankful that you did that. Another part is that this guy's a big kid. So we're going to have fun cracking beers together. We're going to have fun getting together and having a good time. Like, this is a great energy to have friendship around. You are going to be there for people. Okay, you have a 3 and a 5 in your chart, and this also shows up in your legal name. Now, I'm going to have a question for you around that coming up in a second. Shit gets real. It gets real. The 11 has trouble in relationship, whether it be your family, your partnerships, whatever it is. The bird keeps pooping on you. There's a challenge that you have to grow through inside of partnership and relationship that puts you at the mentor level and at the one who's going to help other people get through it eventually. But you still got some lumps in your oatmeal to have to process, some stuff that you wish wouldn't have happened when you were younger, or stuff that you've had to have gone through. You'll become a better man because of it, and you're going to save other people. When they call for an angel, suddenly you show up, and that's a wonderful feel. Okay, you also have a 9 in your chart. This means that you're going to fight the big fights. You're going to fight the big fight for the world. You're going to go into global perspective. If it's not now, it's going to be later. But that feeling of wanting to give it all back, or wanting to go and express it all, or wanting to do much for others, a level of impact is in the cards for you. And that feeling of you having a really, really giant heart, we can see that this thing moves in. I'd like to think that Jace S. Donovan was the movement point, which makes me feel like the question is, did you understand the date for alignment to get the cycle dates, so that we know that any day in 2019 that equals into an 8 is going to be a good day to do something legally?
Not going to lie, I'm a little fuzzy on that, but the other half is no stranger to this stuff either. So you want to give me a quick rundown, awesome, and she'll be able to do the same. So
if you take the day, month plus day plus year, and you keep adding it into a single digit, and it adds up to 8, then you can do something with it, okay? You can change your name legally. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I complicate everything. You're a natural name path 8, so you are a natural wizard. What you think about, you will bring about. It's a challenge that you've had to disassociate from the name. So when you legally change your name, are you going to go for a legal Jace S. Donovan, or are we too early to talk about a legal name change right now?
The Jace Donovan part's been settled for over 20 years. The S part, I'm not 100% on from being permanently tagged onto it, simply because I don't fully understand that part.
Okay, do you have, if you were to take a middle name, would you take any middle name in specific, or do you think that there's something in there that you've been throwing around?
Gabriel.
Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, so I would, how do you do this? You're one step away from for massive, massive alignment. Jace Gabriel Donovan needs one letter. It could be the letter S, it could be the letter J, or it could be the letter A. So if you were to write Jace Gabriel J Donovan, or Jace J Gabriel Donovan, or even Jace Gabriel's Donovan, but adding that one extra letter will mean the difference between the anti-version of wealth and the total balance between wealth, spirit, and family. When we look at Jace Gabriel Donovan, it's a 775. This is a Hulk. This is not a good vibe. When we look at Jace Donovan, and I'm not talking about how awesome you are, this is not a good vibe for wealth. Okay, this is an they have the opposite version of communication and wealth. You would either want to be putting the letter, like as in this one, it was the letter J, or if you go in this one, even the J could stand for Jehovah. Okay, like it could go super biblical. Like I know that Jehovah's the witness to God here, and even like when we looking back into the like the Bible, the biblical version of this, we look at the feeling of I am what I am. That's the level of presence in God. So to add a letter like that, not a bad look, but you're running a vibe now that says massive power, and also in this case says balancing power, like warrior in balance or intuitive in business and in love. So these would be like more of my like, or you could even like do something like that, right? Or you can even do something like this, which is kind of strange, but you could do whatever you want, Gabriel, like that. But that feeling is to think that I would put something else in there, and if you want to run that, or else we could just go with J or S. But I don't know. I think I feel like there's a larger power for you somewhere, and you're like, I don't know about the S. I'm not really that. I just don't understand it yet. I would like to think that it's because you need something else, or something else needs to show up. Thoughts around this? How about Gabe? Or is that not cool? No, it's not cool.
The biblical implications are kind of weird because the entire name, like even my Gaelic name, is entirely Druidic in nature. Nothing like predates the Bible. So
interesting. Yeah, it's fitting that you would be growing into a very universal cosmic space of yourself. But the question, so for the time being, Jace S. Donovan still fits and still pretty good, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would say run this, but then when we have our conversation, I'm gonna imagine that a legal name. I don't think you're there yet. I think you may be taking on a much larger level of vibe. This is a great one to get running with and to absolutely take. The shift has already started to begin. Absolutely.
Can I run a quick one by you then?
Sure.
My Gaelic name, because I'm actually registered in Ireland. Don't ask me why. It translates to Gabriel O'Bannon. Don't ask me to say that in Gaelic. I don't have a fucking clue.
How do I spell it?
Gabriel O' Bannon.
Like that?
Double N-O-N.
So Gabriel O'Bannon is your Gaelic name. Yeah. Okay. Let's just take a look here. Bannon. It's missing something. So let me just quickly put in some Jace. Let me just see if I can put some Jace in here. Yeah, that actually would be a smoking protector name for godlike power. And when we're talking God, we're predating the Bible. We're like, that's just like a specific, political story of God. We're looking at that name, like we're looking at like, let's say Jace Gabriel O'Bannon. I would say you're 2 letters away from it. I would still put a B, a K, or a T in there to balance it out. But what about Jace Donovan O'Bannon? Let's just try it. Oh wait, wrong app.
Double last name.
Yeah, still wouldn't work. You still have to put something else. How about let me just try it. Let's just try. We're figuring this out. And I know we're kind of. Sorry.
How about Gabriel Jace Donovan?
Gabriel Jace. Let's try it. Donovan. Gabriel. I think we tried that one. Jace Donovan. Yeah, one letter off. One letter off. You'd be putting the letter J, S, or A. And either one of them would be super powerful. Like, super powerful.
So leave the S and add the Gabriel to the front. Done.
Yeah, and then take the. So yeah, like that, and then add J. So dude, you nailed it. Okay, so wait. So we're looking at Jace, S, Gabriel, Donovan, like
reverse
that.
Reverse Jason Gabriel.
So let's go Gabriel, S, Jace, Donovan. Or you could even do like actually as you have been. Jace S. Donovan, but put Gabriel in the front of it. Dude, this is your legal name. Hold on a second. Let me just make sure that I get this. This is like, we're like, I don't know if you guys feel that or not, but like, I feel like I'm about to throw up. Like like I'm on a freaking roller coaster here. Like the spiritual energy of the dive in. I'm like, dude, I just gave you a name. Like you came up with this. I get it. But I would even move to get this in like right away and like run it for a couple months before you get to your next level. But this thing is like massive level of power. And it brings in a lot of next generation, like connected to God, connected to your wizard, like your druidness, and like old, like generational linear level of legacy. I got off of drugs and into family with this vibration. Like this, like I spent more on a car than I've made ever in my life, like in a year. Like this is a wonderful vibe. It may take you a couple minutes, like maybe a year or two, to like, like fall into the vibe of it. But I would absolutely recommend that you take a vibe this high, whether it be, I mean, maybe you might go easy on people and put Gabriel in as a middle name for now. So people just still refer to you as Jace. But my son, we refer to him as Robert. That's his middle name. So it doesn't matter what you do, as long as this is how you show up, sign it, everything, very, very powerful. And in comes the bird. Like, you just stay bird, stay there, just don't poo on my food. Bird's like, I want to poo on your food.
Great, I had the flappy bastard again.
Cool. Any questions? That was power, man. I felt that. You felt it, didn't you?
And the whole board's purple, I'm just saying.
Poor Ty. He's not here. He went too big. He went way too big.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Benji, sorry, bro. You missed out. You're in on the next one. Dean, my brother Dean. Life Path 9. He's going to be connected more to spirit than you are to anything else. You are beyond the veil. I remember, like, in awe of your story. When we got a chance to do our session, you had a huge heart. It's one of the biggest challenges you're ever going to have to deal with, is that your heart's bigger than your brain. And you're going to think with emotion. You're going to have emotion, and you're going to even put heart in your brain. Then we see a value of August. You got big visions. This guy's got a big vision for his life. You're walking around with Wizard, and you're not the only person to do this. Gavin, you also experienced this. You guys have very similar charts. Okay, so we have a value in here of big ass heart, and also going to be a wanting to be in business. Your names ripped you around and threw you around the room like God was playing pinball with your soul. Okay, so I get it. It's not an easy road. But born Dean Marcel Rochefort, super loyal, absolutely hardworking, absolutely going to be a structure and a stability and a grounding force for others. It makes me kind of mad to think that you had to go through the challenge and the bullshit you had to over, parents and stuff like that, whatever was going through your heart and through your soul, because you were the grounding force. You were the mediator. You're the one who's standing in the middle of it all. And you're a super loyal, very, very great friend to have. I know this firsthand, okay? But you experience an overload of energetic vibration the same way like Donovan, the same way like Gavin will. You have this vibe that shows up. One day, I know it's not yet, and I know it's not for a while, you grow into, it's Dean time. The Dean machine. It's time for Dean. It's time to rise. It is time to fall into or rise into, up to your level of leadership. You got about 20 years. You got about 15 to 20 years. And in that time, you will do a lot of damage. And I'm talking good levels of damage. You will do a lot of mass levels of, like, weapons of mass creation. Like you will absolutely create some power in life. And this is going to be a tough road to uncover, but you've got power in your name. The reason why you're going through this, it's because when you speak with power, it's so that you know what you're talking about. And when you set up, you're like, trust me, I know what this means. I know what this feels like, guys. I've been there. I know what I'm talking about. People are going to look at you in awe because they're going to see the God light that flows through you. But this ain't an easy life to live. I'll tell you that for sure. What do you think about these names, man? Like, I know that you're conflicted. I know that we had to go over this a few times, but this is it. This is your time. This is your time. So do we want to talk about your name? Do you feel in the inside of you that you're not running at your true vibe, that we have to find something else? What's the deal?
Yeah, it's hard to say, man. There's been so much fucking turbulence with my name, just the majority of my life, right? Since like fucking consciousness.
Yeah,
right?
man.
Am I Dean Rochefort Coakley? Am I Dean Coakley? Am I Dean Rochefort? Am I Dean fucking Adam Rochefort Coakley? Like, it's been a fucking mess.
If you can drop Adam and just go Dean Coakley Rochefort or Dean Rochefort Coakley and just take that on, I would be super thankful.
Done.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Dean Rochefort Coakley, I roll with that, right? My dad's already accepted it. It is what it is. I honor my mother. I mean, she carried me for 9 months. We went through a lot of shit together, right? And she was always there. I mean, Dad was dealt with his battles too, right? And that's just the way it goes. So anyway, yeah, I'm down with Dean Rochefort Coakley. I'm down with Dean R. Coakley right now. You get to know me, I'll let you know about the Rochefort story. But until then, it's Dean Rochefort, Dean R. Coakley.
That's cool. Okay, so
even Dean Rochefort Coakley, right? I mean, I'm fucking down with whatever. But it's the numerology. I find it really intriguing, right? It's to wrap your head around it all. It's quite the game you got going. It's nuts.
It's super weird. It's super strange. And I'll tell you something. King All-Star. So, and these are your names. This isn't like poor old Ricky here has got to take a letter. That Jace here has got to take a letter. It's not his. Or like most of this stuff is like we rebuilt Jace here. Okay, like we basically gave him a brand new vibe. But Dean R. Coakley, Dean Rochefort Coakley, like you gotta like, I don't know, I can't tell you gotta do something. But like if you could find yourself a mirror and look at yourself and recognize the fucking power that you actually have, like I would, it's hard to recognize this because you've been through a rip around with your names and you're holding, with these bigger numbers, you're holding energy that's not yours. I'm sorry to tell you, dude, you're holding energy that's been implanted on you, that's been stamped on you because of the crap that your parents had to deal with. And it's not your power. It's your opportunity to rise above it. And I know that you're rising to the challenge. I know that you are. Like, I understand that. It's not even a guess. It's just the growing path. And blessed that we found each other when we did. We'll be friends for life. I promise you. We'll be friends for fucking life.
Absolutely, brother.
Because I know that you're growing. I know that you're going to get there and that you're going to help a lot of people one day. It's just the patience to know that sometimes you're going to go through a challenge, whether it be with your wifey or your lifey or with your parents or with one or the other. Everybody wants a piece, and you're going to own it as if it's yours. So do whatever you can to cut yourself off from the acceptance of like what is you and what isn't you. You know, like, you know who you are. You have to know that Dean R. Coakley, Dean Rochefort Coakley, it is who you are. And that's a wonderful, naturally occurring alignment, which makes this even more messed up to think, well, then why do I have to deal with such bullshit in life? Well, it's because the strongest ones do. The strongest people have to deal with the loss or the hurt or the challenge of others. Like, it's a regular deal that bigger souls have to deal with. And you could still have a couple more years in you before you turn it over. I'd like to think it's right around the corner. Any questions, my good man?
Lots. There's lots of questions. I mean, You get going, right? It's every time as we're speaking, I'm thinking like there's so many questions, but I don't like to interrupt because I'm trying to take it all in. It's just fucking poetry, right? It's beautiful. Like to interrupt, it's I don't even know where to go. It's the Dean Rochefort Coakley, the whole name. I mean, you touch on so many things that really hit home, right? It's
Let's look at Dean R. Coakley for a second. Massive level of love, huge heart, father, husband, leader, partner in business, growing in wealth, self-love. Dean Rochefort Coakley, powerful in business, powerful in intuition, spiritual realm, and then powerful in love, levels, and communication. So the names will work, but what I would like to do is either a go live or an interview or something where we can like share your thing with the world so that we can start showing people the healing that's available through knowing Dean. Like we have to.
I would love that. I'd be so honored.
Okay, we're gonna put that in the books, dude. And open to any of you guys. Would love it if any of you guys wanted to interview me for your social media. Would be super, super, super blessed for that. That's more of a thing for me than anything else. But I want to get around and help you guys out. Okay, cool. My boy Gavin. Now this one is the Life Path 8. This is the wizard among us, guys. Like we may have 8s in our names. This guy was blessed with this as an incoming like zone in. You're a magical human being. And I even knowing Carly, like she's very spiritually like in tune and in depth. To find this and she matches your vibe in a very powerful way. But the fact that you show up with a Life Path 8, you've got a wizard's path in front of you. Showing up with August, the biggest challenge is protecting this sense of genius in your life. It probably got hacked and slashed as you grew up because it's difficult to handle a child. I'm blessed that I have numerology that I know of that I'm not going to squash on my daughter. I'm pretty sure your parents had no idea. And they were just dealing with a very sprited young fellow who's very hard to manage. And they're like, what are we going to do with him? There's something wrong with him. He's got the ADD. He doesn't listen. He's defiant. And oh my God. And if I could find that little guy in there and be like, dude, you're going to be an epic father and an epic leader one day, and you're going to have an epic beard one day. Like you just know that you have power to heal that little inner kid. I would imagine for you is a wonderful space to let go of all of the crap that everyone else had to put on you, and to think that your name is a 9-path name and you have double 9s for the rest of your life. You take on other people's energy as if it's like the knee-jerk reaction of what to do. You're handling so much more bullshit of other people that it's not even funny. Okay, so I know that you're very solid in your name or like in your vibe, but you will be very disciplined about the things you need to do and work really hard. But I want to know, did we find the right name? Gavin H. Walters. Did you grow out of it? Are you trying to take something different? Do you feel like you need to put energy towards this? Is there anything that you'd like to add? I'd love to give you a space to talk about your name or talk about your birthday.
I think I'm still getting used to it. Like, I love it. I'm still letting go of all the shit from the past. Recently, I don't know if you guys know him or not, but Matt Omo, he's the sound energy healer in Sydney. And going to the Freedom Fest in February, I was able to have an experience with like his work. And yeah, it's just opened the doors to so much more. Since taking on the name, I'm reading fucking Joe Dispenza's fucking books and shit like that. It's just amazing.
That's nuts, man. I'm glad that you're taking this on. Your challenge is dealing with too high of a level of consciousness, and bringing you back down is going to be a glory to watch you grow. But wonderful pleasure to know you, my brother, and I appreciate you holding energy for me and my family. This guy's been there for me, so I appreciate you, Gavin. And honestly, dude, like, guys, we're robots. We're not. We think that we're human beings, and we think that we're like this special little snowflake. And I get your numbers are going to show you your identity. You're a piece of the universe, and how you decide to treat that is everything. What do you read? What do you do with your time? What do you spend on your money on? What do you spend your energy on? What pisses you off? What gets you on the bad side of the bed? What wakes you up negatively? Like, we need to protect this. So getting the books out, looking at stuff you've never thought of before, spreading the love, being there to help someone else, being there to run into, Jason's going to tackle you with a hug, Dean. Like, you're going to get it. He's just going to do this for you. And this feeling is
it's a big hug. That's say anything but tackling.
big hug. Hey, he's going to give you a big, I know the 5. You're going to run at him. Okay. He's like, come here. Dean's going to be like, dude, it's going to be crazy. Trust me. If you haven't had a Dean hug, you've never lived. But the reality is, guys, is that we're here to help. We're here to help people. Whether it be like me, guys, showing you some weird stuff, numerology, and opening a door into something that I'm pretty sure you guys were like, whoa, this is nuts. To think that this happened, it's crazy. To think that I know who you guys are without having to, learn all about your stories. It's nuts. But there's stuff like this. There's value in what you're learning. You can go off and share a post about this. You can go off and share a post about what you're reading. You can commit. You can understand. You can work through your pain. There's so many different. You can help people who have, like, if you don't know what you're doing, just look at the stuff you've conquered and go find the people who are still dealing with that and help them through it. Speak on addiction. Speak on self-worth. Speak on loss. Speak. Don't just go inward and downward. Go outward and upward. These names take you outward and upward from the heart and the head. So these names will magnetize you towards higher levels of consciousness, higher levels of wealth, magnetism. Balaj took the W on. It took him almost 5 years. Guy's making $1 million a month. Think about that for a second. Anyone else got another decade to invest to get to $1 million a month? I do. I absolutely do. So I know that we're going to change the world together, but you guys marked the very first time in my career history that I've done a male-only group session of providing value for guys to go out there and be like, we're the teachers of the new world. And I don't care if you're spiritual or not, doesn't matter. You're teaching wealth, you're teaching freedom, you're teaching purpose, you're teaching a lot of stuff to others. So you guys get a chance to show up with your leadership and shine bright now. Get the best sleep you've ever gotten in your life. Get the best day you've ever had in your life. Go and just absolutely do whatever you can to make love to whatever it is in front of you, whether it be your wife or your life. Whatever it is you guys got to do, get open with your hearts to that section, because that's where the healing is going to take place. Tonight, we let go of a lot. We let go of a lot. Sorry, Gab, yesterday you let go of a lot. But this new vibration for you now is to say, I will walk forth in power. I walk forth in my truth. And I commit. I decide. I commit. What you're doing is you're looking at the multitude, the multiverse of probability to think, look, anything can happen. So what do I want to happen? If you're a snowboarder, don't look at the tree. If you're a skier, look at the goal. Don't look at the fucking tree. You're going to hit the tree. If you look at the goal, you hit the goal. Be the bullseye. That's absolutely what you need to look forward to. I appreciate you guys so much. Like, honestly, if you guys like this, you've given me a space to do this. And I appreciate you guys so much for that. I will be posting a replay for you guys in case you didn't record this. Dean, Jason, actually Jace got it. Ricky, I'll get you a recording of this. Does anybody have questions, comments, or something they want to add before I close the recording down? Don.
I read a Chinese fortune cookie tonight, and it was just kind of, it's kind of wild how it is, but it says, the time has come to allow your heart to guide you. So and that's just before I came on here. So I was like, wow,
That's crazy. I appreciate that.
And some wild stuff lately. It's just been crazy stuff for me, but yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Like, you've been noticing synchronicities and stuff that's been happening to you in the last little while?
Last probably 3-4 days. Crazy stuff. Just
Next level. Absolutely next level. And to think that we're just getting started. So I appreciate you guys so much for taking this and using this as your launch pad. What we've done today is to create a mastermind that will follow you guys. I'm going to keep a hold. I mean, we're all buddies. I'm going to be keeping a hold of all of you guys and your success as you grow through. And I wish you guys so much power. If you have any questions, you let me know. You reach out to me. There's discounts for you guys to work with me. So I'm not going to charge you guys full price. I'm going to invest in your guys' business. In exchange, I'd love to think that one day when you have a group full of people in your team that you say you got to get in with Bobby on a group session, and I do 20 to 30 of your entrepreneurs all at once, and you just go light speed. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah.
And you're more than welcome to be here on the next time. All right, boys, let's do this. Let's call this a night. Say a special prayer for Ricky's dad that he helps us and like serves us from the beyond. Because Ricky, man, like you got an angel up there now, and this guy's absolutely guiding your success. And if Dad's giving you guys any advice, it's to say whatever you need. You just ask me. Whatever it is you want, I will see it done. You just have to believe and know that the universe has your back, and the universe is absolutely working and conspiring towards getting what your persistent thought is. And sometimes we got to clean out the stuff in order to actually get, good thoughts back again. All right, cool. Anybody else before we go?
No, I'm
I
good.
did send
Bobby.
you a DM there, Bobby.
Absolutely. All right, boys. You have a great night. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Awesome. Thanks, Bobby.
Thanks, bud.
Take
See
care.
ya.
Thank you, brother.